Hello everyone, I'm your host, remember Dave Christopher series on Old World Blues. Let's get right into the game. Okay, we're getting prepared against the Legion for the Grand Assault, all the way to Mexico. Damn, at least these Legion's got always Mexico. How do we kill them anyways? Agent raiding party, watch out for spies, complete. Proximity munitions, complete. Efficiency, complete. Masters of the Sea. Battle group, Chief of Navy Operations. Verticore Veterans. Couriers to New Victoria, couriers to Dredgers, couriers to Timberland, send couriers to Haida Confederation, devour army barracks. Ross Coursiers raid the coasts. We've gotten word that the coastal settlements will be subjected to a raid by pirates operating along the Californian coast, or rather they were on the subject to a raid. Navy patrol to the area managed to detect them via radar. In response, units were moved by vertibirds and were ready for them, and when they arrived after a pitched firefight, and with the unsuspecting freebooters, their vessel were either left to sink in the ocean or hightailing it north before running into a naval ambush and sunk. Now becoming food for a local Mylark population. The Navy has conducted a sweep and pulled in a few survivors, but the raiding force has been destroyed. They'll send a message to those who think the West Coast isn't defended. Now teach them a lesson. Well, the port mall's gone. We could rehabilitate them. You rehabilitate them. You reclaim the Declaration of Independence. Capital Wasteland. Our initial expedition to the Capital Wasteland reveals the damages was worse than we had feared. It looks like the region's water supply is contaminated, supermutants and raiders fight over the Washington's Mall, and everything is in ruins. We can stick with our original plan just to recover the Declaration of Independence and Constitution, but we could set up a humanitarian mission to help the people of the Wasteland. What would be greater than seeing the United States troops occupy the Capital Wasteland? We don't have the Capital Wasteland on the map, so I'm going to be practical. Hell, we're doing this. Give me more benefits in the future. The last argument of presidents. Although most nuclear missiles were used in the Great War, we've been getting some signals near Ashton and suggest some of our pre-war weapons are still around. Let's do the Nuclear Defense Operations Command first, as we get to, maintain the nukes. Ashton's Air Force Base. The Air Force components of the Ashton's Hope of Base Complex, Ashton FEB, maintain command and control of the missiles stored there, as well as early warning systems in the event of an attack. We work on more doctrines, Daring Gaul, or Steel Gaul. Oversteeled. We're going to redefine the best. Section 1 of Article 2 of the United States Constitution. With the capital expedition returned from the East Coast, their prize was the Declaration of Independence in the Constitution. Preserved and have survived 200 years. It's a good thing the Enclave didn't bring it aboard the rig, otherwise they might have lost it forever. Which is just as well, seeing how the Enclave deviated so hard from the Founding Fathers' vision. However, as granted read the Constitution, probably the first president in 200 years to do so, he discovered something. According to Section 1 of Article 2, at the time taking office, the president, one, must be a natural-born citizen, a resident of 14 years, and be 35 years of age. Grant was born in 2243, 9 months after the rig went down. When he assumed office, he was 32. By the highest law of the land, he was not eligible to be president. In fact, the entire presidency might very well be illegal. Most, however, when realizing the discrepancy, decided that, due to the extraordinary circumstances of the time, such a little thing be overlooked. Further by how old is enough, so what does it matter? There wasn't anyone foolish enough to question Granted on that matter. Anyone was to challenge my authority in office? Well, if you turn a 2 upside down, it kind of looked like 5, giving you more stability. The last of the Enclave Navy. To much of our surprise, a decrepit old Enclave vessel has docked our primary naval base. Stepping out was one of the salty bunch of sailors in the Enclave naval uniforms, heading by a woman who stared-bellied the experienced age bigots. Provide the correct clearance code is none other than the crew of the USS Enterprise, the last ship of the Enclave Navy. Leading the ship was the self-styled Admiral Jenny Richard, who was promoted when the ship commander passed away a few years ago. They've been serving as privateers for hire in the southern hemisphere after being deployed near Seattle when the rig went down. When they Enclave and America have returned, they set sail, and upon arrival, many wept tears of joy, seeing their flag waving. Admiral Richard has offered her services to the President of the United States, citing years of experience beyond anything we can muster in the near future. Admiral, protect our shores. Last of the American carriers. Along with the Admiral Richard came her ship, the USS Enterprise, or what's left of it. The last of the United States supercarrier, the United States supercarrier, there you go. The state ship was over 200 years old, and quite the story. Within her rusting hull are parts from none less than 5 other carriers that served in the Pacific Fleet when the bombs fell in 2077. Over the intervening years, ship has interventional in surveying and understanding the post-World War. It was the Marines and sailors aboard the Enterprise that established Navarro, freeing the ship up from ferrying vertebrates to the mainland. And it was further appearing when Richardson deployed to the Los Angeles Boneyard when the Ritter went down. In the years since, the ship sailed south, hoping to sail around Cape Horn and link up with the Enclave on the East Coast. Sadly, a run with the pirates in South America water left the ship damaged and its commander dead. It was when his protege, Joan Richards, picked up our signal, and she and her inherited crew made the repairs that could and sailed north once more. Now it sits, listening heavily in San Diego Naval Base, when its ship itself can be refloated its in state of decay after 200 years of hard service, leaving it useless as a warship, but that doesn't mean we can't use it. Let's scrap it for parts for our power armor production. What makes a superpower? Most nations that even operate a navy has nothing more than a small flotilla of canoes, or lead by a clipper or a barge at most. Only the largest or most technological advanced, like the NCR or the Brotherhood, are capable of sailing actual fleets of warships, with the Legion Class C being an outlier. Aircraft are a forlorn dream of many nations, or something beyond their tribal existence. With even the NCR struggle to field warplanes, much to the detriment of the rest of their military. To merge the two into the aircraft carriers is such a laughable concept that most nations don't even bother to. Even pre-war would struggle to field and maintain one carrier for most developed nations. Sailing would require just as much effort, and many a wasteland nation would expend their entire nation just to sail it, destroying themselves in the process. Of course, most wastelanders aren't the Enclave. A growing industrial might, vast reserves of manpower, and technological mastery, we can field a vast armada of warships in entire fleets of aircraft. With the return to USS Enterprise, the ship's computer databanks contains schematics of the old vessel and allows us to build aircraft carriers for the first time in 200 years. Let enemies of the Enclave tremble in fear when the sight of old war supercarrier appear off the coast and unleash their deadly payload. If there was ever a symbol that America was back, it was our aircraft carriers, and thus the Enterprise lives on. Give us an aircraft carrier, hell yeah. James Moreno's sentence. In an open shut trial in New Reno, former New Reno gang boss Little Jesus Morindo was sentenced today after found guilty on all accounts. Mr. Morindo was convicted to 2 life sentences plus 3,490 years. Just kill him at this point. In prison, Attorney General Grayson was on the steps on the federal courthouse in New Reno speaking to no one. No raider, no mob boss, no one is above the law. Let me assure you, the president has entrusted me with establishing law and order. Many here in New Reno can attest to the acts of barbarity committed by the Morito crime family, and today represents the first step in restoring the trust that our country has to the law. Mr. Morito, who was unable to be reached in the comment and has been flown out of the refurbished Federal Correctional Institute to Hurlong near Sierra Army Depot. Mr. Wright, the aging father of Richard Wright, was extended his thanks to Attorney General Grayson for bringing the murder of his son to justice after all these years. A win for American justice. Ashland's Air Force Base. Ashland Air Force Base was an Air Force component of the Commonwealth Ballistic Defense Complex, tasked with providing targeting and launch out for the missiles in the base, while maintaining the base was technically unstable region. The base remains in a better shape than the Army side, largely due to the more technical side of Air Force operations have a greater security. Thankful no one managed to activate the launch sequence, as they might have caused more problems. The strange underground readings have only gotten worse. With the more sensors we activated, 1 or 2 max functioning was one thing. Some misreadings are be expected of age, but last one of them, we installed new ones, and they're heading to the same thing. There's something down there, and it's not mole rats. Something's burrowing underground underneath. This is a sole nuclear missile base, and the regions present a huge security concern. This appears to be a place where these burrows are closer to the surface than the rest, but it might benefit us if we dig down and find out what exactly is down there. Engineers have pulled some excavation equipment, and they're waiting orders from higher. Find out what's going on down there. This is root suppression because we have a bunch of resistance way up here. Focus fire complete. We get the encryption, resistance unlock, cooling check unlock, nitrogen cooling unlock, heavy incinerator, Tesla cannon, and rocket launchers. Whispers of hope. Light of the seabird. Ever since we started putting vertical guns in the air, the Navy has taken a keen interest in modifying the VTOL for their purpose. After requisitioning a few from the Air Force, many Navy technicians put there to work adapting it. Adapt additional tie-down sonar modules and slots for additional heavier weapons to deal with boats instead of infantry. The result of the VB-02 Seabird which the Navy is hoping to push into service here soon. Well, already then. The massacre. The engineering team broke into a series of tunnels, but they were done by a dozen of reptile mutants that slaughtered them wholesale. Base security responded that they themselves were over as 100 of these things flooded out the tunnel. We had dug. We would have seen a loss of everyone in the base. They have not retreated upon reaching the sunlight. Seems that they have an average aversion to bright light. The base here have been evacuated. Response and emergency units moving in. We're still getting rings from the sensor modules and is indicating a lot more movement underneath than before. It appears we struck a mutant's hornet's nest. Due to the nature of the nuclear weapons stored at the base, heavy doors is ruled out, meaning the only way to get rid of these things is the hard way. Given they easily wiped out a bunch of power armored infantry, it's not going to be so easy to remove them this time. Grid demolishes team, we'll bust them out. And we have our own mutants for this? Yeah. We get a Horgan power armor. We work with super mutants on this one. We'll get the mutant army. I looked up a guide on this. Okay, it doesn't work out. We have dogs, demolitions, fire team, recon, and anti-tank. Okay, we got that unlocked. We're going to do frequency analysis. We have formed department. Disaster and divide. The situation is based as long got worse. The only thing emerged at night and vertebrate flights and the security perimeter have been barely able to contain them. What's more, they can easily tunnel through the ground, and our soldiers have gotten over to calling them tunnelers. During the daylight hours, we sent an automatic unit to scout, but even the mighty sentry bot is taken down by a handful of these things. Thankfully, they can't fly, and our vertebrates have been flying Overwatch and more than on their way. As of now, the situation is unstable. What was not stable at the military staff being granted put forth his plan to have the Slater take control of the situation. It wasn't that any of the general staff were prejudiced against the Slanter. It was the divide. Mutants who were known to take down Sentry Bot with numbers and ease. Even the Slanter called in were a little hesitant after reading the reports. Yet as the meeting drew on, there's more commanders came over to the president's side. Slanter here had adapted to fighting in enclosed environments, and their heightened senses would be an advantage underground. With further push thanks to Granite's ruthless charisma, the decision was made. All that was left to gather the strike force. You're facing the might of the American military. What about the FEV? Of all the pre-war maladies that plagues the wasteland, none has been more apparent than FEV. What started as an earnest attempt to protect Americans from Chinese biological attacks became a catalyst for nearly every major event in the post-war America. From the Master's Army to the literal plague that hit Utah, FEV has brought nothing but pain and destruction to the waste. However, efforts to Dugway Province ground has bore some fruit. Working off of our old research to omnicide cure the wasteland of radioactive maladiness, scientists have managed to rework the deadly stuff to target certain wasteland horrors from cazadors to deathclaws. Of course, anything involving requires presidential approval, and science teams awaiting your response. Well, it can do some good. Immediate efficiency, we do some more logistics, for no reason at all. The last thing anyone expect. Rel or Disney has reservations strike up an alliance with the Enclave, but they had to be true with their word, even treat them as equals. At least in the law, it was impossible for every human to see them as anything but mutant raccoons. However, they have done with Slanter and even cured his illness. Lambs continue living and leading his people. When representatives from the army arrived requesting assistance with a crisis further south, the old Slanter was confused. He had heard war stories from the Slanter Scout Corps. The Enclave Army was one of the most powerful in the world and have tamed all of Nevada and swept aside the NCR like it was nothing. They have come to him now. It must have been dire. The old Slanter, along with the Scout Corps veterans, listened as the army officers explained the situation in Divide. Right now, America needs its smallest members. Godspeed, you furry little bastards. We'll sponsor war movies if we get enough experience. Patriotic movies. Home department complete. Inception Group, a meeting of man and mutant. What they thought aside from was a tall order, even the FEV mutants, these tunnelers creatures seemed fierce. For this his part, Railroad Sinzan was invited to New Reno to personally meet with the President Granite. The first time since the two signed the Unification Treaty. Granite welcomed old Slanter warmly, given the Slanter weekly every report he personally had received, and the old Slanter looked over it with some concern. These things, they were basically animals, and in packs could take down Deathclaws with ease. A monstrous Slanter legend was nothing to put but an afternoon hunt for the things. He also read the casualty report and sat back in his chair. Well, assistant cast his eye over the U.S. flag that Granite had in the corner. Several of his own kin has been killed in operation in the past few years. Some fighting side by side with the humans who had brought them in. Reldison thought back in the day they arrived in the burrows and extended a welcoming hand. He also remembered when the first unit of the Scout Corps was sent to war, and the glowing praise that was delivered to him from their actions. Sealing his resolve, he couldn't help with the country that had brought him in and welcomed to their nation. Staying on his chair, in his chair, mostly the eye level of Granite, Railroad or Olsen agreed with the Slanter Scout Corps that everything in their power is just in defeating the crisis. I knew I made the right decision accepting you guys. Slanter reached the divide. The first Slanter arrived in the perimeter within hours, delivered by vertibird. Their small size allowed dozens to be delivered in just a single bird. While some were raw recruits, the vast bulk of them were veterans of the Enclave's war and Raider pacification campaigns. Receiving their briefing, the mutant raccoons got to work and making their way towards the base. At the same time, the ground commander, accepting but skeptical of the Slanter, had been working setting up a series of modified armored vehicles with floodlights and tried to reach the breach. The Slanter major thanked the ground commander before setting off the rest of his troops. I trust him to get the job done. Firetown, USA, one of the Navy's United States Navy Fire School. Okay, this school. Cancer research, Tesla cancer research, have you considered researched? We get the Film 202 Smash, we get Maintenance Efficiency, and Rubber Refinement. Mutant versus Mutant. Slater made contact with the tunnels at first. Mutated humanoids didn't even know what to make of the furry FPV raccoons. They observed the little fuzzy creature with confusion before the Slanter struck. Operating small unit tactics, the Slanter took down several within the base before the tunnelers finally recognized them as a threat. While the Slanter took some casualties, a mix of their own military tactics and old hunting tricks kept them relatively light. What's more, the tunnelers were even safe when they tried to dig underground. With the burrow, Slanters followed them into their holes and striking them on their own turf. Some activities are picking up and they'll only be described as small, localized explosions, like the Slanters using grenades and other explosives to try to root these things out. The Detation's little beasts, are they? Something happened. During the resupply, reinforcements, the evacuation run, one of our pilots knows that the Slanter had captured several of the large brutes and were apparently trying to ride the thing like a wild Brahmin at a rodeo. When we asked for a reason of their subordinates, the Slanter major calmly replied that his troops were taking some initiative and tactics in applying the U.S. Army spirit of innovation. He explained the tunnelers that are no different than any other mutant horrors they had encountered in the past, and if they can be tamed, they can be used. He pointed that to how the Slanter had tamed giant mole rats in the past as beasts of burden. These tunnelers were just scary humanoid versions of them. If they could stop the tame of at least few, they might be able to create some sort of cavalry corps and handle the rest. The group commander has reportedly that the plan was crazy, but crazy enough it might work. Frickin' A. Interceptor group researched its barb torpedoes. Never dull moment in the divide. The perimeter guards around the base were given over to quite the sight this morning. The Slanter party we sent in the divide came out riding several of the tunnelers while crude riding gear in blinders fashioned around the tunnelers' eyes. They were lined up in formation with the major at the front, holding a small Gideon that the group had fashioned. Suffice to say, their human comrades loved their sight, as did their ground commander, who was not shy in singing the praise of the Slanter. In front of the crazy little mutant plans worked, and they performed a mock cavalry charge to show they know what they are doing. The press apparently picked up on this, and support for the Slanter cavalry corps is growing among the populace. Rail Osin has sent all of his species' best aimers to the base, and they're expected to arrive by vertibird within the hour. The Steeler was my coffee. Sponsor War Movies. Writings of the Slanter. With reinforcements, Slanter plan is simple. A dedicated thrust towards the breach site and down into the depths of the tunneler's hive. From there, the Slanter will capture as many of the tunnels as possible, and their beast tamers will get to work breaking these monsters in. Resistance is expected, and the tunnelers, the Slanters, has broken in half, have been armored up, and given additional blinders to hide the fact they are assaulting their own. The oil has been plugged to prevent them from smelling it if they're giving off pheromones. At dawn, the Slanter cavalry rode off towards the base, as regular soldiers looked on and cheered. River gunships covered them overhead as the Slanter charged Godian out to the base. Transport carrying the beasts and tamers followed close behind, ready to deploy at the breach site. First resistance was met halfway between the gate and the breach, and the Slanter's new beasts of burden proved instrumental in defeating their former species. Blind in sight and smell that when they are attacked by their former kin, they flew into a rage, slaughtering their unarmored domesticated selves. Their Slanter rider assisted that when they could and made rapid progress toward the breach. Arriving the breach, a flying V formation, Slanters drove onto the breach. Best tamers and an additional company of Slanter scouts deployed and ready to assist. However, everything rests on Major and his troops, and once they underground, we will be unable to support them. Godspeed, Slanter. All fortifications complete. Order firebase complete. Rally around the flag. Oh, we rally around the flag, boys. We'll rally once again, shouting the battle cry of freedom. We'll rally from the hillside. We'll gather from the wastes. Shout the battle cry of freedom. Rapidly discharging ammunition. This is complete. We'll work on rapid redeployment. That's the report. We're hoping they're okay. After several days, nowhere from Slanter underground. Our seismic monitors have picked up activity, so we know they're alive down there. However, there's more interesting is the reaction of the rest of the country to the little mutants. The actions divide. This Slanter, while protected under treaty, has equal the United States. That doesn't mean the common citizens see them as equals. Many critics have questioned the purpose and effectiveness of the Slanter Scout Corps, with more hardline views claiming that the arming of non-human mutants. The images of the tiny Slanter fighting the tunnelers valiantly, as well as cavalry charge against Hopeville, silenced them and invigorated a wave of public support for the little creatures. Pictures of the charge are front page of every newspaper, and the borough itself is a patriotic uproar at the sight of their scout display of gallantry. Grant himself traveled to the boroughs and met once again with Thorell Olsen, personally thanking him for his species contribution to the military, the nation, and the United States people as a whole, of whom they stand as equal, none more than ever. Yet, for all of the fanfare, little word has come from the branch, and it is unknown if the Slanters are scattered or being slaughtered or advancing deeper within the hive. I'm sure they're doing fine, I hope. Vital point targeting. The fate of the Slanter. We received word of the Slanter from the base. 2 messengers rode up to the perimeter this morning, request additional reinforcement supplies, as well as radio to communicate with the surface. The lead messenger, a Slanter lieutenant, report up to the tunnel beneath are large and expansive, and the Slanters are operating in unknown territory. Don't know how large the tunnels are. Their established base camp in one of the larger nests, as well as basic aid station, and their supplies are running short. The ground commander sent the request up the chain, and supplies are on their way. Additionally, an entire battalion has been dispatched from the boroughs, many of whom became veterans of scout across the army. And at the very least, we know our mutant troops are advancing underneath, which is a welcome word that has become a national spectacle. I knew they'd be fine. Here's some Hawaii, same thing. Harbor refinement. Enclave cruisers. Battle rages on below. Seismic activity was slowed in the past few days. The Slanter has been giving status updates, sitting that they're traversing dozens of miles underneath the base, mapping out the extreme network of tunnels and nests. A recent development from one of the scout teams claimed that they have stumbled onto a large nest, complete with one of the largest tunnelers they have ever seen. The captain in charge of the platoon was forced to retreat, given the resistance in numbers, and has given a description of its size. We agree with their assessment that this thing and this the queen, though we don't know if there's only one of the or one of many. The major has reported that they are preparing to storm this nest along with the best beast tamer, with the plan to capture this thing alive. The operation is set to commence in the evening. Wait, how large? You know what? I'll cancel justification just for them. Amazing Vishni unlocked. Okay, it's a lot of words. Okay, say Film 202 unlocked. Long-lasting flames. Napalm. We'll get logistics 5. Beacon allies. We're not the only power opposed to the NCR. To the east comes a fool who's dreaming of reviving the Roman Empire. To the south lies another legacy of the old war, Mr. House in New Vegas. And then there's the Brother of Steel, who has no love for the NCR or us. Perhaps the enemy of our enemy can be our not enemy. Testing results. Work has began in earnest in one of the abandoned vaults of California. Within the CL atrium, the modified FEV strain was released onto chambers containing rat roaches, feral dogs, feral ghouls, and blowflies. The strain was to target blowflies, with the ghouls standing in as human surrogates. The modified FEV has no effect on dogs, roaches, or ghouls, with the blowflies dying off rather quickly. Continued tests provide the same element results on the elated scientists, proving the FEV can be only used to clear out some of the worst creatures in the post-war world. More testing is underway, of course, ensuring the virus doesn't mutate, as well as turning it to target other creatures, or lead to something entirely that we have no hope on combating. Well, nowhere near ready for release as such as it represents a major breakthrough on FEV research. Well, some good to come out of it. A down over the divide. This morning, our troops were greeted by a victorious Slanter riding out of the base. With them, a surprise sight. With a bugle call of revile, the victorious troops of Slanter rode out in formation, such of the cheer of the troops on the perimeter. What's more, the crazy mutants did it. Tied up between them, and with three beasts tamers keeping it under control, is the largest tunneler we ever seen. They also have several more of the creatures tied up on the mass herd. The Slanter Major, a little worse for wear, rode up and saluted the ground commander and presented him with the Tunneler Queen. The ground commanders report a joint one of the Slanter's Major has called Operation Huge Success, and that the base has been more or less secured. Well, one question if Slanter was a bad idea. Directly starting a mission researched. Radar guidance system, let's get that. Hope field restored. Regular forces moving not live draft, supported by gunships in the Slanter and their new tunneler mounts. The Slanter Major has reported that several sweeps and kill teams are still operating underneath the base, looking for any remaining tunnelers that still lurk below. Preparations to move the Tunneler Queen off to the burrows are being made, as well as to further tame the captured tunnelers, with the Slanter Major opinioning that with the green breeding ability, they could breed a large amount of the tunnelers for the new Slater Cavalry Corps. While unorthodox, it cannot be understated the effectiveness and speed with which the Slater operated in operation. Recommendations for awards and honors are already being passed up command for review. Despite initial reservations from generals and even the press for use of the Slanter Corps in the operation, it cannot be understood the fact that they were instrumental in securing the base from the mutating threat. Good. Give me Relison. President and their mutants. Granted paid a visit to Divide today to personally thank the Slater for their actions in Divide. Slater troops stood in formation for the President pass and review. While many were wounded, their uniforms weren't in the best shape. All showed up in the formation for the president and stood tall and proud, even if they only come up to Grant's knees after conducting his review. Grant gave an impassioned speech on the formation, saying how the Slanter had shown themselves as above equal to their humanoid counterparts in the military, and that their contributions in these past few days will not be forgotten, but remembered for years to come. Let no one speak ill of the Slater Scout Corps, or that Slater's soldiers not equal to that of human infantry. When your nation call upon you, you answer with the spirit and bravery benefiting the American soldier. To face certain death, only to laugh at in his face. Let nothing forget that you met your indomitable foe, and not only defeat it, can only took command of it as a human with a Brahmin. Today I stand before you, a man before giants. With your action keeping you with the finest tradition of the United States military, America will remember that the Slanter Corps did not divide. I thank you. Your nations thank you. May God bless America, and may God bless the Slanter. God bless the Slanter, and God bless America. We got raccoons. The birth of the tunnels. Operations are returning to normal at the base. Seismic activity hasn't picked up anything. Aside from roaming patrols, it's Slanter deep underground. The Ground Operations Command has given the all-clear, and non-combat personnel are beginning to return. By special presidential decree, Grant has awarded former tunneler Hive to be a second Slanter Burrow. And already, several families from the Burrow in Nevada have signed up to be moved to the Mojave. Tunnelers, as they are now called, have become a mix of new Slanter City and American First military installations given over to Slanter Corps, as well as the newly commissioned Slanter Cavalry Corps. The civilian population of underground surrounding towns and settlements have returned as well. Welcome the victorious Slanter with open arms for their contributions in securing the divide. We've ever even noticed an additional caravan traffic increase from the Slanter increasing trade in the region as well. The former ground commander, now installation commander, has given the all clear in that the base is now secure. It's the American dream. Rather than the Slanter Cavalry Corps, tactics and techniques Slanter has developed during the fight and divide has been solderified in new doctrine. While the Slanter has been proven invaluable as scouts, their small size often causes them to cover less ground than humans in the vehicle or even air too. With their new mounts, Slanter are being able to cover terrain just as fast as any vehicle, and they can even engage in combat against foes thanks to the ferocity of their mounts. While it'll take some time to get their breeding program up, the army is looking forward to deploying their new cavalry across the wasteland. Odu expire et dinis nos. Hell yeah. Seeking allies. The greatest power in the wastes. The NCR and Brotherhood are the most powerful groups of the waste, but there are others who strive to protect life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. I'm sure we can find a use for them. That ragged old flag has been there for 500 years, ripped, torn, used, and abused. It's been stepped on, burned up, and betrayed. Betrayed by men and women who turned the dream it once held into a nightmare. For the Great War, the United States was a disease of greed, ambition, and nationalism. When Enclave returned, it has once again been the spirit of the free had turned into a demon of avarice, hypocrisy, and jingoism. It is ironic that in order to save the Enclave and by the large save America that's needed to be destroyed, but the dream lived, carried by survivors of the Enclave and raised alongside by those they once considered enemies, representing more about what the Enclave states were meant to be, more than anything that was ever considered at the rig. The scars will remain and provide will always never fade away, but times have changed once more. For the first time since the bombs fell, that very flag flies over the land once more, over the flameless in their home, over the workers in the factories, over the teachers and students, over the soldiers in the front lines, not just humans, but superhuman schools and even those who weren't not human to begin with, all united under the flat flag, old world flag, July 4th, 2286. Deploy everyone now. Maintenance efficiency 6. Enclave cruiser complete. Enclave battleship. Support cause partisan complete. Repair the waste complete. The elephant in the room, or space rather, the holy grail of conspiracy theories, and we got most of our advanced technology. Stopping the tunneler. Given the vast amount of tunnels recovered, we've been able to dissect the things that biologists have learned a few disturbing facts. First off, they were at least human once. Yet there's no signs of FEV that caused this. Biological mutants, meaning this was straight radiation that mutated them. Biologists are baffled as they are bitten other instances of underground humans having slight mutations, but nothing that this drastic. Bioluminescent scale poison glands in their mouth and eye adapt to low light environments. Whatever situation happened in Divide during the Great War managed to aggress the human there beyond primitive and out of the mammal kingdom into the realm of reptiles. Biologists are still wishing to study them more, especially as the Slanter learned to breed them and we continue to Cavalry Corps. How's it even possible? I just want stability. Fuck you. You just upgrade our fleet now. You just upgrade a whole bunch. Logistics 5, long-lasting flames, missile launchers, and Logistics 6. This is just embarrassing for Caesar's Legion. Can't even take down a few tribals. We'll get the Major and the southern and the Cottage-Wood Canyon area. Elephant in the room, a freaking UFO. I always knew in centuries at this point we were not alone. Ever since the crash of Roswell in 1947, we've been aware that we've designated them Zetans for reasons we've got since forgotten. We know they've been watching us, studying us, abducting us. They're not friendly. They do not come in peace, and they don't want to negotiate. They even took a sitting U.S. senator, and we found his dissected corpse floating in the Potomac just before the Great War. Sadly, most of our knowledge on them went down with the rig, and Callahan and the rest of the Enclave intelligence is trying to piece together what they can. If something happens, we must be ready, and it's not like we can send nuclear missiles at their homeland. There are rumors of something found in the New Mexico years ago, but brought here. But for the time being, we cannot only sit and watch. That's not very comforting. To be more important in the future, for now, does nothing. Right, defeat the axis of evil. Broken Coast, the Washington Brotherhood, and Legion, the three superpowers threatened to enslave the waste. And with the collapse of the New California Republic, only Enclave are capable of protecting democracy. Time to show them that freedom is always worth fighting for. Radar guidance system, Enclave Dreadnought. Jackson Adams. Enclave battleships. Well, we get Balleste. Beat the axis of evil. What the fuck is going on? Out of the freighter and out of the frying pan. With the two-headed bear defeated, we found ourselves surrounded on all sides by hostile wastelands that does not want us. We were so focused on defeating the NCR, we didn't think about what happens next, or did we plan for it. Our armies be battered, overstretched, bruised, and barely standing after taking everything the NCR could throw at us. Now they find themselves surrounded by all sides. Out to the north, the mutants, cannibals of Oregon to look south. Seeing an easy meal, and beyond them, the cold dark heart of Seattle, there sits an immortal of the Washington Brotherhood looking south. Yet the east lay Caesar and his legion, a fanatical army of thousands stretching from the Colorado River to Colorado itself, and with the Equatorian Palatine assisting them, our technology edge might not be enough. But this isn't the first time for us. In fact, it's becoming routine. Battered, bruised, bloody, and we're still standing. And if you think they have a right to this continent, to this nation, we'll have everything we have worked so far hard to rebuild. Well, come and take it. Attack bonuses on them, hell yeah. We're to do Operation Brutus. The Legion's ramshackle state was built over the last few decades through ruthless expansion, but Kaiser hasn't had time to give it a lasting government. It won't if we succeed. His efficiency is 37mm deck gun. Logistics 6. Missile launchers research. Detection and communication training. Operation Brutus. Alright, from top down, Kaiser's legionary commanders might obey him, but if he were to die, the Legion would tear itself apart. Something might be made of that. Volpes and Colta remains a threat, and like everything we faced yet, and his Rumentari are without a doubt the most powerful intelligence organization in the Wasteland, and Colonel Callan is going to dismantle it, and to do so, he's going to right for the Fox's head, from bottom to up. The Legion's based on the back of men and women who labor under the tyranny's lash. With some encouragement, we remind Kaiser that Americans will always fight for freedom. I like that one. A few more tanks divisions for our units. Look at this big cancer of the planet. We must cut. Have deployment research. Redeployment, I meant. Identity communication training. Weight iron manufacturing. And long-range optics. From bottom to up. The dreams of liberty. The Legion's based on slavery and despotism. But there are those who remember when no American were to joke on slavery. We hold these truths to be self-evident with that all men are created equal. We plant weapon caches. We once used vertebrates to send weapons to the gangs of New Reno. Now we can use them to supply rebels and slaves in Legion territory. Remember that Americans were once a free people. Like Dreadnought researched. Storage compartment. Let's stay. Complete. 57mm deck cannon. Be it fire designer team, light aircraft manufacturer, or hard choices. Agility and speed. Air aces. Let's build battleships. 37mm deck cannon. Research. Alloy casing. Light weapon caches. Researched. We arm slaves down south. Creating more armed slaves. There we go. You'll be focusing in the south as a distraction of Legion. As we push in through here. Operation Spartacus. The flag of rebellion has risen through the lands of Legion. The people of Arizona and New Mexico, we're resolving that this land shall have a birth of freedom. The government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth. Okay, what's up with you guys? Want to send spies, and that's not a really good disguise for you, in my opinion. Yeah, General Martin Ritzlaff. Operation Spartacus. Operation Damocles. Okay, we read this already. Volpes and Cola remains a threat unlike anything we faced yet, and this is without a doubt the most important intelligence organization in the Wasteland. Colonel McCallum is to dismantle it, and Zoldu's going to write for the Fox's head. Operation Damocles. It's red versus blue. Kaiser's Rumentari, the best intelligence organization in the Wasteland, have capabilities beyond anything the rest of the Wasteland was capable of. Even the Insane Rangers were left in the dark, and unable to properly combat Volpes and Cola and his enforces. Too stuck acting as wasteland lawmen and military scouts, Volpes could operate with impunity right under their noses. Their campaign of terror had led the Mojave spreads rumors like wildfire across the NCR, and now is laid to the feet of Colonel Callahan and Enclave intelligence. While he refused to believe the wilder tales, like how Volpes was a bad man. half-dog mutants, he followed up on clues and rumors. Using old-school counterintelligence tactics and trick that the Flumentari weren't used to. He had a few promising leads, but he needed to expand his scope. Speaking with Granite, he proposed Operation Domecles, a systematic campaign to destroy the Frumentari using everything the all Enclave intelligence officer had at his disposal, as well as developing a few new ones. Granite looked over the proposition as well as evidence that Callahan had supplied even during the NCR's run in the Frumentari. While he was more of a direct action kind of man, Callahan knew what he was doing. He gave the operation the green light. Get that son of a bitch. Foxcatcher. Callahan knew in order to truly defeat the Frumentari, he would need to cut off the head off the beast. That mean capturing Vulpes and Coda, of course. Vulpes will never just show himself, but he knew Kaiser didn't tolerate failure. If he could dismantle and disrupt their operations enough, Vulpes would slip up in a desperate attempt to save face. He already wasn't like amongst his peers, only having the protection of Kaiser to save him. If he lacked that, then he would go into a panic. So if Callahan didn't capture him, then at the very least, Kaiser would kill him. Kaiser got to work coordinating with whoever he could. His mission simple yet complicated. Bring in my interview from Atari he could for interrogation. If not that, kill them. Whatever comes first. Old World Ways. Leaflet drops giant speakers propaganda. The old world had many means of psychological warfare. It is time to remind the world that it forgot. Old World Ways. Psychological operations attempt to influence, disrupt, corrupt, or usurp advisorial human decision, waking through the employment of propaganda, audio disruption, visual hallucinations, demoralization, and intimidation. While the United States pre-war lacked against its advisory in China, the Enclave has learned much over 200 years, and it's something the Legion hasn't prepared against. And most of their efforts are at educating tribals and not dealing with America the Beautiful. Play over loudspeakers every night. They're just a bunch of tribals anyways. New World tricks. Airborne ferals, hallucinogen gas, plant monsters. The world is a dangerous place, but the United States. We should remind the Legion of that. Whoa, it was land? What? Oh, you're ugly shithead. New World tricks. New World tricks. Much has changed in the North America continent in the past 200 years since America left. First and foremost, many of the terrors of the pre-war world sit hiding just beneath under the surface, or sealed beneath a classified label. Now, many of these horrors have been founded, and just as many more were joined by some post-war mutated horrors. The Legion may take pride in terrorizing the town by crucifying everyone, but let's see how they like it when we drop a death claw on their heads. What horrors can we unleashed? No Arizona killers in America. In shocking turn events, the Western White House in Reno was site of a running gun between the Secret Service, the United States military, and several would-be assassins that have been determined to be actors as Kaiser's feared Frumentari. The watch event happened when a custodial staff body was discovered in a closet. Security promptly alerted the event. In the last days of attempt killing the leader of the free world, the assassin assaulted the Oval Office, being gunned down by none other than the president, sporting power armor and wielding Gatling gun. Take that, you sons of bitches. Images depicting the president leading troops in battle once again has sent shockwaves across the nation and revigorating many patrols to the army cause. Stars and Stripes beats Legion Bull. I am Uncle Sam. Begin integration progress. Portuguese useless interrogation process. Deploy loud music speakers. Big Iron, Atom Bomb Baby, Butcher Pete. We set up serious loudspeaker along the Colorado River, point them towards Legion, turn the volume as high as we can. 24 hours all day, every night, non-stop. We always got a few bullet holes in the speakers. We figured it will be a few days before we have to take the loudspeakers down for maintenance. But for now, it's just fun to kick back and some good music and watch the Legion suffer. Turn it up. Operation size matters. Yes, we're dropping in boxes of the Brahmin condoms on the Legion measuring contest. Reminds me of... Okay, let's try that. Measuring contest. Of all the tricks in the psychological operations group have up their sleeves, this is going to be the most outlandish as far as most conventional methods go. Loading a few flippers with a box of Brahmin condoms, the labels were switched up, with one of them reading U.S. soldiers, and dropped over to Legion territory. Many question if this would even work on the Legion, given their strict adherence to marital life. Analysts, however, point out that the primarily hyper-masculine culture of Legion, which only respects power and strength, The report abundance of slave girls and brothels amongst Legion camps further indicates that the operation might have some merit, at least amongst the young Legionnaires. Insecurities? We have none. A tried and true method of warfare stretching back hundreds of years by this point. Hundreds of thousands of propaganda leaflets looked up into the back of the Verbird, flown high above Legion territory, and kicked out between the altitude where they dropped and the fact most of them made of flamelit paper. They should spread far and wide over Legion territory. Most of the simple picture of the literacy rate of the Legion, however, it should know that one set was kicked out way too early, and the leaflets flowed down over our own territory and have ironically quite some popular among troops and civilians. I use one as a bookmark. Strike the Legion factories. Now it's our turn. We suffered from sabotage from our factories since we returned to California. Well, it's our turn. With help from Enclave Intelligence, Sigma Team, we have dispatched all across the Legion to target weapon production and weapon manufacturing across Arizona. Sadly, it's probably nothing more than a morale victory for us at this point, given the Legion often produces weapons on the fly and their low-tech ceiling. They're likely to make up for it by throwing a few extra slaves at the blacksmith shop until their main factories can come back online. Still, a win is a win. How does it feel, bitch? Deploying Navarro's skinwalkers. Navajo was more than willing to turn their guns back on Kaiser with supporting from Vertibird and Stealthboy technology. Chief Henishkin Naba personally had led a platoon of his best warriors lead deep in Arizona wasteland to lead a campaign of terror against Legion. He knows the cities are too risky, but much of Arizona is open wasteland, and at night, when the Legion rests, the Navarro Skinwalkers will strike. Long time waiting for this. Operation Wandering Soul. It's no secret that the Legion is made up of dozens of tribal reform under the power-fisted rule of Kaisar. Many see Edward Salo as a god incarnate, something we can exploit all too easily. Attaching speakers to our old blimes. We can sail them high above the earth and have them blare old ghostly messages, strange voices and sounds of the dead, warning them about the impending doom of fighting Enclave America. While we don't expect the Centurions to believe it, the harsh standards of discipline enforced by the Legion means at the very least they will lose more substantial elements to execution, something we can exploit. Spooky. Barrel Ghoul Swarm. Operation Necromancer. Slight terror of any wasteland scavenger, explorer, or even our own power armor patrols, and the recipe cell of a feral ghoul, shambling mutated monsters that lurk ever in our nightmares and areas less explored. There seems to be no less end of these things, and we're wondering just how many died on the bombs, given the sheer numbers of these things still hanging around after 200 years. Regardless, everything eventually had to use. Herding a bunch into shipping containers, we dropped several over Legion positions, and the doors open, unleashing dozens of the things at Legionnaires. At this point, it won't be hard to tell where the feral ghoul screams and which were the cries of the Legion. How do you get them in the containers? Good death claws on the Legion. Death from the sky. Though many of our airmen would love to just shove the death claw out of the back of the Verber and watch it fall onto Earth, there's no guarantee it will survive intact. Instead, it will ride down in a special cage with rocket-assisted landing right on top of a Legion camp. From there, the cage will open, and a very, very pissed-off Deathclaw will unleash itself upon the Legion. Given that thing was designed to fight in a close-quarter combat, the Legion didn't stand a chance. Flying Deathclaw is a new one. Deploy hallucinogen gas. A green gas is not FEP. Another example of pre-war tech becoming a post-war horror. Hallucinogen Inc. Pre-war marketing a potent right-control gas meant to pacify crowds. In reality, as it was the exact opposite. It caused dramatic adrenaline gland rupture, exposed subjects, resulting in hallucinations, erratic behavior, extreme aggression, and heart failure, which is kind of the opposite of what we want in crowd control. Cite a few used in Appalachia, the gas never made it to the market, but that doesn't mean that the predecessors didn't see its use. The chemical core keep the design schematics after some work. The chemical core has whipped up the few canisters and were deployed over the Legion's fortification. Effective or nothing short of legendary, as the Legionnaire began slaughtering each other, and when everything was said and done, those who survived collapsed from heart failure, roaming mission success. That was a form of right control. Rescue slaves from Legion. Naval officers. American ships will be commanded by the finest captain and admiral in the 23rd century, and into the 24th will remain unchanged upon the emerald waves. Okay, we're setting up a naval invasion up to the side, so we take them down south. I believe we'll meet up with the revolutionaries down here. We split Mexico in half to Tampico, and we have two armies diverging from down to Mexico City to San Puerto Sola, and we push up to support the boys up north. Wait, Montana Enclave? Holy crap, Montana Enclave. I guess I should do a... Well, that's pretty awesome. We'll provide 5 water to Chicago. Whoa. Okay, this is pretty neat. I'll do this later on. I'll do this in later on. This is the one I'm playing is a mod. We upgrade our boats. We have Navy superiority right now at the moment. Best to keep that. We can sim a lot of carriers. Oh, USS Enterprise's duty has ended. It's been years since the USS Enterprise returned to our shores. While Grant's decision to scrap the carrier was controversial among the crew, the reasons pulled could not be understated. However, nearly a bit of the ship has been torn apart. Every alloy, every circuit, and all of the advanced components aboard has been always a temporary measure. Now all the remains of the U.S. Enterprise is the anchor, which has been placed on display in front of the naval headquarters as a memorial on both the ship and the Enclave sailors are still lost their lives after the rig went down. Asshole girl, you'll be remembered, damn it. Ah, shit. We got naval officers researched. Operations Command. With the base restored with under our control, we can turn the base to operations. America will become a full nuclear power once more. A long, barren highway. She was supposed to be a ranger in the NCO Army. Of course, that was a long-gone dream. She was captured by the Legion in the Mojave, left to fight in the gladiator pits. Word from the west, from the Legionnaires, that some force from Nevada had toppled the NCR, and now some old world power has risen in its ashes. Something has scared the Legion. She could only wonder if it was the Enclave, the same force her dad fought all those years ago. Regardless, now she and others were being sent to Flagstaff to produce the next generation of Legionnaires to fight for Caesar. Her only saving grace was the long barren highway that stalled her eventual fate. Until the slave collars fell off, until each of the Legionnaires' escorts were shot dead round her, as the slaves stood there wondering what's going on. Several black-clad rangers came out of the thin air. Ranger Stella, of the NCR, you're coming home. Oh wow, they're completely screwed, because look at our dudes, we have like tanks compared to their infantry. It's pathetic. Okay, we're doing many naval invasions. It's first one on tanks, on Puerto Libertad, and we're going to right here. Reinforce the line here. All orders set up. Wait. This bitch is in... Yeah, this coward. You're supposed to be in God's word, but you are with the Legion. You no longer represents God's word. Operations Command Research. Nuclear defense operations online. With the nuclear tunneler threat over, Ashton Air Force Base and Hopeville will have been restored to fully working order. We are ready to begin operations. We've already defined several nuclear sites across the North America wasteland. After getting to them, it will be difficult. Several areas are guarded by automated sentries that we cannot guarantee will answer to our codes, while others are being used as place of worship or incredibly irradiated since the Great War. It would likely be best if we secure these areas with conventional forces first before moving the dedicated teams to secure them. It's doubtful anyone knows how to operate a complex computer needed to launch them, let alone align their targeting systems. For now, America can rest easy knowing their military is keeping vigilant watch for any nuclear threats. Good, let's lock these things down. Torture is useless. Callahan has never been a fan of interrogation. Through the old Enclave intelligence officer in him did find some sadistic glee in it. At the end of the day, it was useless. Eventually, they would just end up telling you what you wanted to hear, regardless if it was real or not. That was part of the reason Enclave intelligence failed to predict a tribal for Oregon to be capable of getting to the rig in the first place. However, in his travel as a caravan merchant, he learned a few things, and no, it was in the art of subtlety, neutral interface, cutting-edge technology before the war, used primarily in VR. It was also used to bind the terrain, used to bind the brain of the robot and the robo-brains with it. Callahan hoped to find able pry exactly the information he needed out of whoever he was interrogating with little to no possibility or of deceit or false truth. When later questioned for his flagrant violation of ethics, Callahan was quick to point out there was no laws on it at the time, currently before the Great War, and had no remorse given what the Legion often did to agents or they captured. He also suggested those laws be written quickly. That'd be a problem for future Congress. We could do Monroe Doctrine. As the largest power in the wasteland, it's our duty to see that North America remains a stable and peaceful land, free from conflict and tyranny of raiders and slavers. Enclave Fallout, I don't care who the Selks are, that was a national monument, they destroyed it. Harrison, you got Hopeville on the line. Yes sir, missiles be armed and ready, replied the SCCD. Okay, second death. Are you insane, Granite? Came a shout from not a single person I've heard, led alone to cut Granite off. All the eyes turned to it again as he stood on the edge of the table, eyes burning the rage that consumed the room. See, he sucked right into Gannon, as no one had ever heard him yell. You're going to drop a nuke on American soil because they blew up a mountain? You don't talk to the president like that, shouted General, but Gannon had none of it. So shoot me. Go on, pull that laser pistol and shoot me. Gannon was a little taken aback. Normally you scream his head off right now, but this was Gannon. Gannon never raised his voice or yell. Was so out of character for him, it was unsettling. How many more nukes had to go off before we realized that destroying things just ended in more destruction? How many? Answer me, Granite. Granite leaned back in his chair, but managed to get out a "I don't know." Look around you, Gannon shouted out through not as loud. The nation is destroyed. There are skeletons in the street, and innocent people you have finally have chance at turning this nightmare wasteland around, and their first response is just kill people because they blew up a carved rock? Enough with the cycle, and for revenge and killing, just enough anyways. End the cycle, please. Numeron Doctrine, complete. Okay, we got a robot battalion. This is my layout. Combat robots in the middle, support robot right here. Dogs, anti-tank, recon, fire team, and demolitions. We're doing the Commonwealth projects. Pure America evolved the state concept into the Commonwealth system. It never did live up to expectations. Post-war, however, its groundwork could be brilliant. Way to delegate government and marshal resources and hopefully not repeat pre-war or the NCR. We'll get war economy. Commonwealth Project. The Commonwealth Project. The President today announced it to a joint session of Congress that the old Commonwealth system is to be reintroduced and reintegrated into American society, followed by rapid assurance that no one in Congress was losing their job. The new Commonwealth system was based and built upon the pre-war system, with some minor changes to territory as well as pragmatic adjustments to fix with the post-war times. This, however, will change nothing with the executive branch, as I swear in the governor or the aforementioned commonwealths. Rebuild America one commonwealth at a time. We will make it canon, no matter what Bethesda says. Okay, we're going to fund the EPA. We need to preserve what remains of our nature and preserve the planet for future generations. Plus, we will gain popular support for doing so. Alright, it's time to attack. Okay, we need to get some Air Force ready. The ground support right here, air support right here. We took over Dam, excellent.
This is Enclave I.
Okay, a lot of them are in here. Let's kick their fucking asses. Ah, fuck it, going in. Ooh, encirclement now.
More moments and I'll have your sorry ass in a sling. Enclave here.
We're just demolishing the Legion.
What the fuck? The president's watching us like a hawk.
Air support right here.
Yeah, that's a no one. Excellent!
Ooh, encirclement. Let's check the Heaven's Gate area.
This is Enclave Maincom.
Let's fucking walk in. That's what you get for joining Caesar Legions, prick.
Enclave here. Yeah, that's a no one.
From the EPA. For the longest time, Collis and the EPA has been showing on the stuff on the side as the tree huggers are more military focused operations. It did not help that Collis's former rank before becoming director was a lieutenant in the army, but that was behind him. Since the return of California, the Enclave has inherited the environmental problems of California as well. Poor soil, irradiated water, immune invasive species, all of which the Environmental Protection Agency was designed to combat and prevent. Thus, when Clovis put forward his proposal, Grant accepted it, only because he seemed to be the only one who knew what to do at the exact moment in time. In fact, a few people of the officers in the room were perplexed that Clovis even got his approval. Regardless, Clovis was that before restoring his already restored the EPA to its pre-war potential. In the first place, he has its sight on where the old EPA officers in Northern California. Good luck. Okay, deploy all teams now. Get project. The Garden of Eden creation kit was designed to help revive the waste from a nuclear war. The United States can't help use this technology on a national level to turn the deadwood forest into redwood forests once again. Okay, they're all going for the kill. Going for the kill. Excellent.
Enclave here.
Simply the devil against all his United States forces turned tides against the Legion and marched to liberating people held in bondage. But Santa Ana is no fool, but he knows the faces of the Legion and, what the hell's happening here? What the fuck's going on? So okay, I'm gonna read that later. Arm it. It's too much stories. Lead atrocities, nice on the bitch, Eastman has responded, increasing guerrilla attacks on our supply line, god damn it. Liberation, damn, got more stuff. More stuff, excellent. I'm not gonna read that, too much words. Give me a lot of words, I ain't gonna read it.
That's a no one.
Okay, reinforce his line right here and go for the kill, and what the fuck is going on here?
Enclave here. This is Enclave main comm. Everything's always tighter out here at Enclave. Why isn't your video feed working?
Okay, we're killing so many Legion's bitches.
Enclave here.
Oh yeah, they're pretty weak compared to me. Weak as shit.
Excellent!
Alright, proceed. Excellent. Let's see. I'm not gonna read that. Stop giving me stuff to read.
Why isn't your video feed working? I've got you.
How does the Legion have many slaves? I'm not gonna read that. I want war.
Enclave here.
Going for the capital. They're weak as hell. That's awesome.
Enclave here.
Going for the kill. Big project. Horses. Although there were about 8 million horses in pre-war America, they all died out due to the Great War, nuclear winter, and hungry survivors. Now the EPA wants to use genetic engineers to revive horses and other large mammals rather than engineering death claws with laser guns. Great, now give them lasers. Ooh, good supply. That combats the Legion stuff.
This is Enclave Maincom. Everything's always tighter out here at Enclave. Ah, that's a no one. This is Enclave Maincom. Wait a minute, this can't be right. Why isn't your video feed working? Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah, nice and juicy encirclement. Go for the kill. Oh my god, they're weak.
Who the hell is this?
Man, tribals against people with laser guns. Unga bunga. Pew!
Why isn't your video feed working?
We got Phoenix. Oh my god, we're pushing in.
Who the hell is this? The president? Look, everything's always tighter out here at Enclave.
War crimes. The circle of American was engaged in what some might call a war crime because of civilian populations. Pictured as in the newspaper, United States, guarantee come to the New World Party. Fuck. Okay, dude, what else is going on? Bitterburst will Enclave soldiers, Legion's banner, the city's slaves wait to learn whatever they were found freedom or new masters. But the president can be proud to know the first time in 200 years, Stars ready flies over Arizona. Cool. Cool. Going for the kill. A lot of people are a lot of death. Excellent.
Here. Ah, that's a no one.
Encircle these units and kill them all. We're taking over. We took Zion.
This is Enclave Maincom. Who the hell is this? The president? Who the hell is this?
Going for the kill. Going for the kill. Going for the kill. Push in. Push it. Go for the kill. Go for the kill.
Enclave here. That's a no one.
Death shall come.
This is Enclave Maincom.
Ooh, encirclement. Close in.
Outstanding. You can say that again.
Go in. Encirclement. Going for the kill. Going for the kill. Time for reading is over. Time for combat has begun.
This is Enclave
Juicy
Maincom.
encirclement.
Why isn't your video feed working? Enclave here. Who the hell is this? The president?
Combine the lines. Move up north against the river. Alrighty, we'll deal with that later. Ooh, encirclement. Go for the kill.
Enclave here.
Velocity rate stuff ready.
Everything's always tighter out here at Enclave. Enclave here.
Going for the kill now again.
Enclave here.
Plus warhead. I don't want to read. I want to fight.
Who the hell is this?
Going for the kill.
The president?
FV. Oh shit. We have the ability to synthesize a vaccine. Okay. Okay, vaccinations. Vaccinations is the ministry of anti-genetic material vaccine to stimulate the individual's immune system, develop an adaptive immunity to a pathogen. Excellent, we take that.
What is this? The president? president's watching us like a hawk. Enclave here.
Your news, going for the kill.
The president?
Excellent.
Enclave here. Why isn't your video feed
Okay,
working?
nothing up north. We can take everything we can.
A few more moments and I'll have your sorry ass in a sling.
Wait, I got an idea. Go through San Burrito.
Enclave here.
Go for the encirclement. Excellent. Now we got okay, juicy encirclement, going for the kill.
Wait a minute, this can't be right.
Oh my god, it's a lot of deaths. Excellent. Alright, move in. Excellent.
Excellent! Enclave main com.
FFV fizzles. A doctor again is urging the United States pursue a costly vaccine program that will pay off when the Legion tried to use FFV against us. Promised to bring the ghosts of the past to their knees with no effect. But it's good to know that we can add attempted genocide to charges against Kaiser at the War Crime Tribunal. Maybe Kaiser should invest in some modern medicine. Our return to Phoenix marks another key element. Sigma team backed up by the Rangers deployment to the University. The battles that given existence to defeat us, battle through the contingent of Centurions, and the place secure within a few hours. Colonel Callahan reports that the Palatine wasn't president. It seems, however, the raiding the iron walls rather than the bombers in the sky and upon storming the place, they found a sick, injured, and wounded, the ones left behind. Colonel Callahan has been interrogating these remnants, and it's become clear that the traitorous Palatine looked in the few hours before the army approached the city. Using the confusion and the chaos, they stole an airship and fled further east, like going to Chicago, according to the most. Seems the Legion figured out however, they stormed the university as they were trying to flee, and those who didn't flee were left to their fate by the vengeful Centurions, who engaged upon assaulting the place. They have been escaped to our grasp, and it's likely they won't find any refugees in Chicago or beyond. Doesn't matter, we'll get those traitors if we have to hunt them until the end of the continent. Those bastards. Excellent.
This is Enclave main com. I see. Excellent!
Oh, we can just go in for encirclement. Excellent.
This is Enclave main com. Who the hell is this?
Wait, we just going for a major encirclement here.
Everything's always tighter out here at Enclave.
Going for the kill.
Who the hell is this?
It reminds me of the Soviet Union.
This is Enclave main com. I see. Enclave here. That's a no one. Who the
Going
hell
for the kill.
is this? The president? That's a no one.
Going for the kill again. To even have a freaking behemoth and still lose.
The fucking president's watching us like a hawk. A few more moments and I'll have your sorry ass in a sling.
Go around.
You can say that again.
Go for the kill.
Excellent!
I wonder where their capital is now anyways.
Who the hell is this? The president? Why isn't your video feed working? Enclave here. This is Enclave main com. Enclave here.
Goes around Tucson. And we're going around here. There's a big major opening here. Whispers of Hope. Excellent. More stability.
Outstanding.
Let's go for a risky one.
Outstanding. Ah, that's a no one. And the fucking president's watching us like a hawk.
Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on.
Outstanding.
Going for the kill.
This is Enclave Maincom. And the fucking president's watching us like a hawk. Ah, that's a no one.
Who cares? You're still gonna die anyways.
Enclave Maincom.
Going for the kill.
Got you. Enclave here. And the fucking president's watching us like a hawk. Enclave here.
Earn 110,000 caps, 10 million caps in total. Hell yeah.
Got you.
Alright, going for the kill.
And the fucking president's watching us like a hawk. This is Enclave Maincom. Enclave here. Enclave here.
Right in circle, that's disappointing.
Ah, that's a no one. Why isn't your video feed working? This is Enclave Maincom.
Okay, you need to reform the lines now.
This is Enclave Maincom. Why isn't your video feed working? This is Enclave Maincom.
Line right here.
The fucking president's watching us like a hawk.
Line right here.
Everything's always tighter out here at Enclave.
Line right here.
This is Enclave Maincom.
Line right here.
Everything's always tighter out here at Enclave.
Line right here.
This is Enclave Maincom. Ah, that's a no one. Enclave here.
Line right here.
Ah, that's a no one.
Move on in.
Enclave here. Enclave here.
And going for the kill. Choose the encirclements. Go for the kill.
Enclave here. And the fucking president's watching us like a hawk. And the fucking president's watching us like a hawk. Enclave here. Why isn't your video feed working? Enclave here. Enclave here. Enclave here.
The fuck happened down here?
This is Enclave main comm. Why isn't your video feed working? And the fucking president's watching us like a hawk. Yeah, you can say that again. Why isn't your video feed working? Ah, that's a no one.
Two Sons has capitulated. Excellent.
Ah, that's a no one.
Oh, that's a problem. What the fuck just happened here? Okay, we are back, and I forgot to record some sections. So all we did was we integrated the Montana Enclave as it gave us plasma weaponry and the Hermes armor. I don't know what the Hermes armor do, but it's pretty cool, so I'm making it right now. That's all we got on the way over there. And Heaven's Gate decided not to declare war on me, even though I'm in the War of the Kaiser's Legion. It's because I let the event run down in order to, like, automatically declare war onto it, and Heaven's Gate haven't declared war because I believe they're like shitting bricks. We see my tanks on their borders compared to infantry and super mutants and more tanks up north. They're so screwed if they declare war on me now. And one unit could take down like a whole squad of like legionnaires as well. I don't give a crap. I'm going for the kill. Suicide encirclement. Man, this is kind of like the Germans in World War II against Soviets. The Soviets being utterly incompetent in military strategy
That's a no one.
and technology, as the Enclave has the highest power of pre-war America.
The fucking president's watching us like a hawk.
Go for an encirclement around 2, son.
Ah, that's a no one.
Encirclement, going for the kill.
Main comm.
Going to deploy all the teams again against them to disrupt their supply pads. Push forth. We're going to kill everyone up north and we move down south, meet up with the battalion over here.
Who the hell is
And we're going for the encirclement again.
President?
2 sons have capitulated. Excellent.
Enclave here.
And a lot of legionnaires left, going for the kill.
Sorry ass in a sling. And the fucking president's watching us like a hawk. Enclave here. Enclave here.
Go for a pincer maneuver right here.
Outstanding.
Oh, they finally declared war on me.
One moment.
Good.
Why isn't your video feed working? Enclave here.
So take it down, May.
Why isn't
Just
your video
push
feed
him
working?
quickly. Just push him quickly.
I have a few more moments on your
Take down the bridge. Take down the bridge.
That's a no one.
I'll go for the kill now. Urban plasma rifles researched. Fall Heaven's Gate. Sorry, Jesus.
Enclave here. Why isn't your video feed working?
Okay, MacArthur reformed. In a few months after long effort, Colonel Callahan has managed to root out every purist, pure sympathizer, and Chicago holdouts. He even had some luck turning a few of them into the reformer side, spurred on by the fact, but he encountered his long-lost cousin, who was at the one point a devout Chicago loyalist. Thankfully, the base has been cleansed of those the same loyalists, with any who didn't. Well, he had strict instructions to treat them like the Andersons fanatics back in 2275. Several of MacArthur's have joined our ranks and their officers are ready to be inducted into our ranks as full member of the military. Good, and the welcome to the winning side. We got more. We got more units, commanders.
Who the hell is this? The president? Enclave here.
Going for the kill.
This is Enclave main comm. Enclave here.
All right, now for the kill.
Who the hell is this? The president?
All of you kill every single person in there. It had pitiful tanks compared to my advanced tanks.
Enclave here.
Come on, hurry. Tap out saving. There you go. Man, it's taking me back to Bethesda's games.
This is Enclave main comm. Enclave here. Enclave here. This is Enclave
Ooh,
main
encirclement,
comm.
going for the kill.
Who the hell is this? The president?
End of the Red Menace.
Damn. This is Enclave main comm. Enclave here. Who the hell is
Alright, push in.
the
Ooh,
president?
juicy encirclement, excellent.
Why isn't your feet working? Enclave here.
Here you go, Heaven's Gate capitulated. Now reinforce the south.
Who the hell is this? The president? Enclave here. This is Enclave main comm. Enclave here.
More encirclement's good.
Excellent!
Oh, cool, encirclement now.
The president?
This is like a very long war as well, so I mean, you might see a lot of cuts into it.
This is Enclave main comm. Why isn't your video feed working?
Wait, this is the end of the river. Oh, it's the end of the territory right here, so they have nowhere to run to.
Enclave here.
Move in here. We took down the Judgment of the Steam.
Why isn't your video feed working? This is Enclave main comm. Excellent! Everything's always tighter out here at Enclave. Enclave here. Enclave here. Who the hell is this? The president? Look. This is Enclave Income. I've got you. And the fucking president's watching us like a hawk. Yeah, that's a new one. Yeah, that's a new one. Enclave here. I've got you. Who the hell is this? The president? Enclave here. Everything's always tighter out here at Enclave. Why isn't your video feed working? Enclave here. Enclave here. Enclave here. Everything's always tighter out here at Enclave. Enclave here.
The kill now.
Enclave here. That's a new one. This is Enclave Income. Excellent! Who the hell is this? The president? Look. I see. That's a new one. Enclave here. Enclave here. This is Enclave Income. Enclave here. Enclave here.
For a big encirclement here.
This is Enclave Income.
Open the hangar. The hangars at Area 51 contain one of the most advanced aircraft we ever produced. If we could just get them in the damn things.
Enclave here. Why isn't your video feed working? Enclave here. Enclave here. Well, I'll be damned. Enclave here. Yeah. This is Enclave Maincom. That's a good one. Everything's always tighter out here at Enclave. This is Enclave Maincom. Enclave here. Enclave here. isn't your video feed working? And the fucking president's watching us like a hawk.
Here you go for the kill.
Enclave here. Enclave here. Why isn't your video feed working? Just dispatched a 30 assault team to your location. Enclave here.
Open hangars. There were rumors and whispers amongst the troops over what exactly would be in those hangars. What would we would find? A few shifted uneasily in their power armors as the engineers cracked open the door, old rusted doors. Even a few officers stood uneasy as they creeped open before them. Before their ory eyes was a flight of pre-war nuclear fighters. Bit anticlimactic. This repeated itself as engineers opened the door to the base, resulting in the pre-war fires have been sheltered for the better part of the centuries, laying there, ready to be refurbished and restored like so much else. Area 51 was the center of our advanced aircraft programs, of course. The surface hangars were held actual aircrafts. We could return the planes to service or scrap them for production boosts to our fighters with the spare parts. Now let's get the extra production. Area 22, a training site for the Army for operations in a nuclear and post-nuclear battlefield, which is exactly what we need now.
Excellent! Enclave here. This is Enclave main com. Enclave here. Who the hell is this? The president? This is Enclave main com. Who the hell is this? The president? Shit, you can say that again. Enclave here. Enclave here. Enclave here. Yeah. Everything's always tight around here at Enclave. That's a no one. Everything's always tighter out here at Enclave. This is Enclave main com. This is Enclave main com. This is Enclave main com. If you want moments on your sorry ass in a sling. Why isn't your video feed working? Yeah.
Area 22, Camp Desert Rock. During the ancient Cold War and the growing resource wars, the U.S. military was going to be operating a nuclear scatter battlefield. How right they were. The tactics developed here were instrumental to allowing our forces to initially dominate the wasteland when we first arrived back on the mainland. However, the test didn't account for our lack of numbers, which is what led to the fall of Navarre after the rig went down. Today, however, the site is being repurposed to serve a new group of soldiers and to better ourselves for continued combat in a post-nuclear environment. 20 years of natural development as well as has ensured this fact. Just keep an eye out for the Winamigos. We got more armed organization by 7%. Area 23, the central housing command point for the Nevada test site. Securing and locking this place down would allow for a safe and sustained city for our gifted scientists and their families. Okay, I lost 13,000 troops, and their casualties is 346,000. Holy shit. Into 76% to war participation. I got 90. Why do I got 98%? Oh. They're at war with those things? That's just stupid.
And the fucking president's watching us like a hawk. Why isn't your video feed working? Why isn't your video feed working? Man, the fucking president's watching us like a hawk. Enclave here. The president's watching us like a hawk. This is Enclave main com. Yeah. That's a new one. And the fucking president's watching us like a hawk. Who the hell is this? The president? This is Enclave main com. Why isn't your video feed working? Everything's always tighter out here at Enclave. Enclave here. That's a new one. Everything's always tighter out here at Enclave. Why isn't your video feed working? Have a nice day. Everything's always
Boom
tighter
for
out here
kill.
at Enclave.
Area 23, Mercury Operations Center. Not exactly Los Alamos or Area 51, Mercury, Nevada sits just north of Mercury Pass, a major caravan route via the north route of New Vegas. The closely was built by the Atomic Energy Commission well over 300 years ago, and was the main competitor for the Big MT, the massive defense research think tank in the region. Regardless, the city was locked down via robotic guards pre-war, which kept many at bay from the site. But that isn't a problem when you have government access codes. With the town under our control, our scientists and engineers are welcoming the change from the stuffy Sierra Army Depot, where they've made their home these past few years and have felt themselves a renewed sense of discovery and drive. Sometimes all it takes is a change of scenery, more research speed, and more army organization. Aggregate Area 5, an old nuclear weapons testing and assembly site and home to the main production center of an M42 Fat Man.
Enclave here. Who the hell is this? The president? Enclave here. Why isn't your video feed working? Who the hell is this? The president? This is Enclave main com. Enclave here. Now move it, soldier! Enclave here.
For the kill.
Enclave here. Have a nice day. That's a good one. Everything's always tighter out here at Enclave. One moment. This is Enclave main com. This is Enclave main com. Why isn't your video feed working? Enclave here. This is Enclave main com. This is Enclave main com. here. That's a good one. I got you. Everything's always tight around here at Enclave. Enclave here. Have a nice day. This is Enclave Maincom. The president? That's a no one. Everything's always tight around here at Enclave. Enclave here. This is Enclave Maincom.
Yeah, Denver. Area 5. I want to set the world on fire. While the M42 was developed and tested at Fort Strong from the East Coast, the main production center of the weapon was contained at Area 5 at the Nevada test site. After securing the site, the added archaeologists managed to recover the schematics and plans for the M42 and its corresponding ammo. We now have access to this pre-war treasure of a weapon and can put it into production immediately. Under Aircraft tab, once sufficient numbers were built, we can arm them, and decisions for them use commanders in battle plans or through spy missions. The Waste will soon learn what it's like to face a real superpower. God bless America. Excellent.
Enclave here. And the fucking president's watching us like a hawk. Enclave here. Enclave here. Why isn't your video feed working? Enclave here. Enclave here. Enclave here.
Oh, Caesar Legion capitulated! Oh, we did it! We did it! But who's the last one left, anyways? I think it could be Iron Alliance or Two Sons. We had to take away all their cores and had to worry about all of Mexico down here.
And the fucking president's watching us like a hawk. Enclave here. This is Enclave Maincom. Enclave here.
We are victorious. All of Caesar's Legion, all of Heaven's Gate, all of Iron's Alliance, and all of Two Sun, and all their entire freaking navy. And we are victorious. Oh, say, can you see the dawn star? We will get Masters of the Wasteland. With the defeat of the Legion, the New California Republic, and the Washington Brotherhood, it's time to remind everyone that America's original motto was join or die. We finished the stand of Heaven's Gate. We remember America. In his darkest hours before his election, Granite asked, is there anything left? Anything that still carries America's voice? The president's save Flagstaff demonstrated his faith to the answer was yes. America didn't need nukes. It needed the slaves who deserted in the dark of night, the followers who spread their teachings in the lands of the Midwest Brotherhood, and the Minutemen who held the line against the Institute. Granite was flawed, but he had made many mistakes, but he turned the Enclave into a bridge between the old and new world. He brought the United States all together. Thanks to him, there would be men and women who wore its flag proudly at Hoover Dam, at the Second Alamo, and even in the Capitol Wasteland. Men and women who walked out and into a history deep than they knew. The men and women of America. God bless the Enclave. Okay, we're doing trial on that. I'm not going to read a lot of that because we're almost done. And I'm going to try to get finish as fast as possible because on Sunday, which is the video is being recorded, is on Saturday, I have a game on a couple of friends that I could try to have on different mods, and I don't want to conflict with the mods I have right now, so I'm going to finish this game up real quick. Raise the banner. The word of the United States has spread far and wide, from the Emerald Shore to the Pacific to the mystery banks of Atlantic. Tired Americans raise the banner high and rejoice. Massive war must now occur. Hope I got a few war plans.
Enclave here.
Oh my lord, we're going in. Okay, a lot of cities are going in, and the trial is finished, and he was sentenced to death. Nope, there was no pity or remorse for those portray anything you believe in. Alrighty, the sentence, and then religion guerrillas, war crimes. What else is on? Send me, for I shall go. What I want to know is who is looking after us. We fought for 25 years for this country and for this nation. Grandma have brought it back from the brink of death, but it was our blood and tears that cemented it. I've got friends in the dirt. I've seen things that wake me up at night, and I got friends who put themselves in the dirt because of the things they've seen. I got seen guys coming in off of the streets asking for a free drink as they don't have the money, and I've heard it's worse in places like the Boneyard, and I don't want to know about up north in places like Portland or Seattle, where I know a lot of guys went to the Seattle after we shoved the war in and belted it out. We gave everything for our country. Is the country going to give us anything for it? Those were the words of retired Master Sergeant Anthony Erickson speaking to the reporter of the streets of New Reno, where the retired Master Sergeant runs a bar that has seen more than a few military members, both active veterans and retired, come through the horror stories of war. Erickson is part of a growing concern amongst American growing veteran community that while America's people, and more importantly America's leaders, were so eager to send him off to war to reunite the nation, now feel like they've been cast aside and once they are used up. Didn't think about this. Morning intelligence summary. There was a saying around Red Mountain. It was a rough morning if Callahan had coffee. He sat half awake in his chair, and the rest of the staff received their morning intelligence summary before work began. Raiders attack along the border have subsided following a series of airstrikes, and we've seen increased immigration from unreclaimed territories and so-called forbidden zones. Meanwhile, we managed to place agents with the future expansion zone and... Hold on, Major. What's the bullet point at the bottom? Asked Callahan. Sir, after asked the briefing, the bottom bullet point, a nuclear bomb in the capital? Sorry, sir, left on by accident, spoke one of the Callahan's officer. No. We're the only ones on this containment, with nukes? Who the hell is nuking us? Chicago? Inquired Callahan. We got a tip from some woman named Lee Muldov. Tipped where, well, she broke in last night, but she was apprehended. She'll talk about how there was going to be a nuclear attack on New Reno. We have her in lockup now, awaiting a transfer. Cal nodded. Let me see her. You will give me more stuff to read for the last time. The mad woman. You're either painfully insane or going else is up for you and try to break it into Enclave Intelligence HQ. Who are you? I look at Callahan from behind the force field while keeping her locked in. Everyone knows who I am. I really don't, Colonel Callahan, Enclave Intelligence. What is this about a nuclear attack on Reno? You think Bud and his types in LA are just going to sit by? Do you know who Vaultec is? We've been monitoring them. What this is have to do with nuclear bombing. You just fit in their model of the world. Bud is going to try to wipe you out, just like he nearly did to the NCR. Ma'am, upstairs, I have a machine that will let me rewrite memories, so enough with the cryptic shit. You didn't break in here just for nothing. You tell me what the fuck is going on, or I'm going to have you thinking your name is Williams. Bud was going to have his title managers, little managers, destroy the NCR because they didn't fit Bud's vision. However, you Enclave type started your war and destroyed the NCR before that, killing thousands. But how that you're in charge, he's going to destroy you. You got evidence for this? I've already discussed that disgusted that somehow the pre-war government returned. That was never anything good about the United States pre-war, but I'm not you. I cannot let innocent people die or just condemn them to death because I don't like who is in charge. I did the ones I saw the world end. I tried to warning the NCR, but you killed them before that. Now I'm warning you, and it's making me want to vomit, but if it saves people. Callie nodded. What's the target? What's his target? It's just a job. A lone car pulled by a Brahmin walked through the dead of night. Four caravan smugglers kept their eyes out of any sign of movement. They froze as verb flew overhead. Man, if it weren't for damn pay, whined a smuggler. Shut it. All we gotta do is push this car into the city and get out, said another. No one is going to question a Brahmin cart full of scrap. Don't you think it's a little weird that old Volt guy pay us so much to push a car full of scrap? That Volt prick. That he's against mutants in the civilization. To the center of the city. Camp's money, I don't care. You saw what he's paying. We do this. We get the payest payday ever. Yeah, but we're pushing into New Reno, the monument of law, whereas it's stupid. Even the NCR wasn't that uptight. Quit your yapping, or I'm going to shoot you and split your cut with the rest of us. I see him the trick and the vertebrates approach, put them on edge. They waited for VTOL to pass when floodlights were upon them. Dozen Secret Service agents rushed to caravan. The four smugglers not even try to put up a fight. One of the agents ran up to the car and threw off the tarp. From the look of it, the whole car was filled with nothing but scrap metal and robots parts. However, he moved some bits aside and his brain ran cold. Bomb. Counted to zero. Graham walked into a bunker near Army Depot as the rest of the room was seemingly in a frenzy. What's going on? I'm awake in the middle of the night and flown here, and no one has told me anything, shouted Graham. Harrison spoke up. We got a nuclear device half a mile outside New Reno, and the Navy Explosive Ordnance Disposal Team on site. Graham looked at Admiral Richards, who nodded in confirmation. Supreme Court is being moved, and we're alerted any of all members of Congress. Continue, Harrison. Vice President asked Grant. Was in Vault City is sheltered in the vault. What about the people of New Reno? Asked Grant. Harrison gave DeVille a look. All citizens have been ordered to shelter in place. We can't risk a panic. I'm sorry there's nothing we can do. All we can do is wait until the phone rings to inform us that the bomb went off, or the bomb was defused, spoke Harrison with the phone off. The room froze. If it weren't for the phone itself, you could hear a pin drop. Admiral Richardson picked up the phone, and if it was time stood still, he has to let them know. Richardson spoke before the receiver down. And looked back at the others in the room. That was the Navy EOD team. Bombs defused. Welcome home. It's been a tumultuous few hours, but with the nuclear bombs defused, little breaths were collected, and now those who had attempted to destroy the Enclave a second time had made a very powerful enemy. It would be no NCR or Brotherhood of Steel to save them this time. Grayson again stood outside Vault 32, the door already breached open due to an animosity between the Vault 32 survivors and the reality of their vault told to Vault 33. All members of Vault 31 were placed in Vault 32 for their own safety, but also to assist the monitoring team. Vault 31 had been turned to a ad hoc field office for the marshals, and those same marshals were rushing in. However, they were backed up by the Enclave intelligence agents, Sigma troopers, and rangers. Callahan walked up next to Grayson. Grayson himself, Bristol next to the intelligence chief. Colonel, I'm aware of your reputation. Make no mistake, I will not see the law violated on my watch. Callahan's normally cocky demeanor turned rather dour. The president has informed me I am to assist in any way possible. However, I'm aware this is a civil matter in your jurisdiction. I'll follow your lead. Besides, I don't think you have to be dragged before Graham on my account, shall we? Grayson nodded. Let's begin. Enclave versus Vault-Tec. During Grayson's time in Vault City, he has read numerous reports and countless stories about raiders rounding up a settlement population and holding them into the center of town. Walking into the atrium of Vault 32, he was reminded of those stories and reports. Being on the opposite side of it, everyone looking at him while bound and watched over by heavily armed men and women felt weird. The only difference was the brain on a Protectron. That was Bud Atkins. Sir, we're about two members, spoke one of the marshals, former Vault 33 overseer Hank McLean and a Betty Pearson. Ladies and gentlemen, all you have to do implicated in the nuclear terror plot targeting the capital of the United States, spoke Grayson. Vault 31 members looked amongst themselves before both spoken. What, that failed? Impossible. There was no way you could have known. Callahan leaned to Grayson. Is that what they call a confession? Mr. Askin, are you actually admitting to attempting a targeted nuclear attack against the Enclave of the United States? Bud just laughed. Enclave this, Enclave that. It's a damn fairy tale. I told you, enough of the Enclave stuff. I'm tired of hearing about it. There is no Enclave. There is no government. Yes, he's dead. Heirs of a Dead Nation. Stop giving me stuff to read, okay? This is the last little goodbye gift to me. Grayson gritted his teeth at the mocking brain on a protectron that was Bud Askins. The cyborg hobbled towards defiantly as it was challenged the old lawman. Listen, I didn't know that nation you think that you're an heir to, but the United States, it's dead. We saw it. Your little playtime on the surface, that's all of this is. Playtime? Now run along. Now, none of us are citizens of a dead nation. We're citizens of Vaultec, and if you don't leave, Essen's arms sparked of life, electricity jumping between its metal claws. Things might get messy. It did not occur to Bud that he and the rest of his buds happened to be surrounded by several well-armed marshals, who promptly readied their guns in response to Vaultec's executive threats. The other members of Vault 31 looked uneasy, perhaps wondering if 200 years in the jar had messed with Bud's brain a little bit too much. However, all this was stopped as a dark chuckling drew out over the tense silence. What's so funny? Who is laughing? Why is there laughing? Shouted Bud. Figure in brown uniform stepped toward. Grayson shook his head, and he knew any attempt at handling this within the confines of the Constitution just got thrown out the window by Bud's hubris. Mr. Askins, Grayson spoke out, this at least save some people. Do you speak for all the members of all 31? They are my executive assistants. I speak for all of them. Grayson sighed as Callahan stepped forward, flicking the top of a Nuka-Cola. Name's Colonel Callahan, Enclave Intelligence. If some of you are American citizens, that means you're under my jurisdiction. Man from Cedar. Is that supposed to scare me? Laughed Bud. His response was a plasma bolt from Callahan to his robotic chassis. The protection body crumbled over before the jar containing the Vaultec senior, junior, vice president's head fell off. Everyone looked at the intelligence chief as he raised his still smoking plasma people. Okay, that's weird. Folks, I'm going to be honest with you. I am not a good man. I'm not one of the good guys. I've tossed people out of a vertebrate, left them to be eaten by monsters, turned to vegetable people, and I've been summoned before Congress more times than I can count. He gets Bud's brain jar causing him to fly across the atrium. I have a lot of enemies. The only reason I am here before you is I get results. I make miracles happen. So in theory, if I fail here, my enemies might have something to get me removed. So there's no way I'm going to fail. I highly advise all of you to reclaim your American citizenship and cooperate with the Attorney General, or they're going to have to write a new set of articles in the Geneva Convention for what I'm going to what I'm going to do. So please make my day. Grayson blinked. He now knew why Graham hated him. Follow your nos. Vault 31 had once again become the epicenter of the investigation. Once each member of Vault 31 was questioned, they're to be placed in cryostasis until it was over, to ensure that didn't conspire with the rest. Grayson watched as Chase Prowl was placed in suspended animation following Callahan's show. And members of Buds claimed to their citizenship, or at least paid lip service to it to save their own skins. Anything yet? Asked Calton, walking up. No, however, it seems McLean and Pearson here we're in inner circle, and most weren't in it. Some Bud kept everything close to his chest. Makes sense. Even all there were his cronies, he would really only rely on his most trusted members, and records show they have been out for a while. There are also the two assholes not here, spoke Callahan. So we have our culprits, but no leads. Anything from Bud? Callahan smiled darkly. I'm having him pledge allegiance. Steer the ship. Mr. Askin, I have to ask, but did you honestly think you have a chance to call me cruel, but did you honestly think that you have a future in this world? So convinced the Enclave didn't exist, we survived the Great War, with what was once one more nuke going to do? Asked Callahan. Grayson shook his head, but he repeated the Pledge of Allegiance. Desperation clear in his voice. Colonel, please, enough theoretics, may I? Callahan smiled before pressing a button on the terminal Bud has been hooked up to. Grayson sat next to Bud, the cyborg panting as if it had run a mile. Who are you people? He pleaded. We are the Enclave. The Enclave? Bud panted. The Enclave, Mr. Askins, bellowed Grayson. Do you think I want to drag myself before a farce and lie about it? You can lie to yourself all day, but I will not lie to you. Since you have refused your U.S. citizenship, I'm perfectly content to let Callahan toy with you, unless you tell me where Overseer McLean and Mrs. Pearson are. Bud panted, his jar bubbling. I'll never tell. You won't get a thing out of me, you hear? I am Bud Askins. Got it, spoke Callahan staring at the monitor. Huh, what? Asked Bud. Even Grayson was confused. I know stressing you out and lower your mental guard had his puppy hooked up with your mind the whole time. Vault entrenchment center near the Sac City. Mr. Yaski has been a displeasure working with you. Step on the gas. The Vault Entrenchment Center was a long-looted structure that had once been used as a hideout for raiders before being cleared out by the NCR Army, and even one as a follower medic post during the NCR Enclave War. Now it's buzzed as vertebrates sent onto the place. Half of them were from the U.S. Marshals, other from Enclave Intelligence. The joint team swarmed the place before several of them encountered some automated turrets protecting a secure back room. The ambush was negated when a Sigma team came up with the easily dealt with the scrap turrets. The Marshals broke in the room and the Sigma troopers backed them up. What they discovered were signs of life in the past few days, as there were dead bodies embedded Pearson, a bullet in her forehead. Half an hour later, Grayson and Callahan were looking at from over the body. They knew we were coming, growled Grayson. Monitored the airways, likely listened to the Enclave to collapse, and when they realized it wasn't and that we were coming, split, noted Callahan. No, Callahan killed his partner. She's old and not in the best shape. McLean, from what I remember, was in shape. It likely didn't want dead weight or a loose end. Cunning. Now we have a highly dangerous man out there willing to kill to survive. Now what? Asked Caroline rhetorically. Marshal, Gerald, get security footage and make Hank McLean. I want his wanted posters posted from Reading to Dayglow to get-go, ordered Grayson. Dead or alive, sir? Mr. McLean, I presume. The hunt for McLean. Brandon looked over the report from the vaults in the raid on the old enrichment center. Grayson Callan had given. I'll have to release a statement you now. No. The people need to be aware, and this man needs to be aware there is nowhere to hide. So we got pre-war executive assistants with knowledge of nuclear bombs running around, asked Granite. Unfortunately, yes, replied Grayson. It's looking like Hank McLean has gone long. In fact, it's been where he left in the haze. Possibly just before our verbs arrived. We couldn't cordon this place off where we moved too fast, explained Callan. Granite put his papers down and adjusted his tie. I have a speech to prepare.
Good evening, America. I wish I was coming to you tonight with better news. A few days ago, we nearly had a crisis in that rogue elements of a vault attempted the nuclear bombing of our temporary capital out west. It was through a tip and quick acting that I'm speaking to you tonight from the Western White House, or speaking to you at all. All this in an attempt to destabilize and destroy our great nation. By now, a few of you have seen the wanted posters for a Hank McLean, the man responsible for the attempted nuclear bombing. I'm asking any and all Americans that have any information to alert local and national authorities. I want to make it clear that this terrorist will not be welcomed in any city, town, or settlement. That we will hunt him to the ends of the America's shores if we have to. This man thought he could destroy what we worked so hard to create. We will show him that he has made a very powerful enemy. They say in the wasteland one man can change history. Well, let's show them what thousands can do when they are united. Good night.
And God bless America. Thank you for reading it for me. Raise the banner high. Bring in the new world. Much has changed since the bombs fell 200 years ago. What lies beyond our borders, and that what's more, that what are we going to do with it all? Make McLean lynched. Well, not really. We got word of a man matching the description near the hub. However, by the time we got there, an angry mob had formed, and the person claimed to be Hank McLean was hanging from a unused light post. However, when the marshals got him down, it was discovered not to be Hank McLean, but instead a drifter who matches his description, which means the man just got hung because he looked like the guy. We did manage to apprehend those who ordered the man hanged, as they were very eager to collect his reward by capturing Hank McLean. However, when they were informed they not only was the wrong man, but that they were being arrested for third-degree murder, they were less enthusiastic about it. Sergeant Major Jordan joined veterans, in a move that surprised no one, but still sent shockwaves through the United Nations. The legendary retired Sergeant Major Archibald Dornan came on Radio New Vegas to further address the growing chorus of veterans, military members, and their families over the growing concerns facing with those who were affected most by the unification wars. I trained them, you know. Maybe not all of them, but all that training, all the manuals, the books I wrote or screamed at one to write. I tried to think of everything they could face in the wasteland. Death calls, raiders, monsters. I was too busy trying to prepare for them for a fight. I didn't think that they would come after. Sure, I have a plan, but I've been at this for nearly 100 years. Well, I prepared them for combat best I could. Now I guess I can try and do something to take care of them after combat. It's was what sergeants do. Dorn is expected to join several key veterans and military members in New Reno to push for restoring the Veterans Administration. Oh yeah, that was a thing. Bomb scare. Residents in California fled the area in panic when a caravan was discovered carrying an unidentified device. The caravan guards weren't sure of what it was, just said they were only paid to move it into the center of town. The resulting panic saw hundreds flee the area, packing all they could as they that remained of the local police cordoned off the area and alerted higher authorities. A Navy explosion ordnance disposal team arrived at the assess the situation and approached the caravan. Fears were alleviated when it was discovered that the nuclear device was a highwayman engine that was being delivered to the town. After a few hours, officials made a track down the owner of a local machine shop who was restoring the pre-war car, who was aware about after that the device was actually an engine he brought off the caravan's previous merchant, the mechanic shop in the center of town, and he was waiting for the arrival of the caravan to collect his engine. Madness. Speaker Graham proposes bill to reintroduce the Veterans Administration. We asked our soldiers to give everything. We asked them to march into hell, to fight in battles in the bloodied sands of Nevada. The bomb-out husks of Sage Sands and marched right into the Arizona to face a fanatical enemy that would see them crucified or burned alive. And they did. They fought, bled, and won. Because they believe in something greater than themselves, and now we have a duty, a sacred duty to them. Graham's voice was steady, but beneath it buried the righteous anger that had driven his political career. There were a murmur of the chamber, a quiet understanding. Our friends returned home with scars, some seen, many unseen. Some returned to family who barely recognized them. Others turned to an empty house, if they returned to a house at all. What kind of thanks for your service is that? No, it's not enough to say thank you for your service and send them on their way. We need infrastructure. We need to restart the Veterans Administration and make it an agency worth of the sacrifices they have made. We need medical care that actually works. We need psychological support for those who wake up screaming in the night. We need jobs, training them. We need jobs, training, homes. His voice hardened. We send them to war, we must now bring them home. Silence filled this chamber for a long moment before the applause began. First, a few scattered claps and a roaring standard ovation. Even those who had sparred with Graham in the past knew he was right. The bill is expected to pass White House, bringing the new world, and let it see the new one. It wasn't just the United States that ceased to exist in the fateful October morning in 2077. The whole world was engulfed in nuclear flames and fallout that saw the total destruction of lives, cultures, and civilizations. Even as missiles and bombs impacted D.C. and Beijing, the entire world felt the blast wave of the Great War, and just as many didn't survive. However, with the return of the Enclave and the restoration of the old world's greatest superpower, Grant find himself at a crossroads. Will he endeavor to restore the old world similar to what it once was, fixing damage done to it in the nuclear exchange to bring them back from the ashes alongside America as equals and allies? Or will he pursue the Enclave's dream of the United States become the world's policeman, taking over the world bit by bit okay, it's a typo there, until only the one flag is flying is the stars and stripes. While ambitious, such as Europe, Asia, or Africa might be far off in the future, for now, he can focus on the new Northern American continent and shape the destiny of the New World. Soon, we will have Pax Americana. This country is big enough for the two of us. Recently, we've been getting strange complaints coming out of the West Central California. Complaints about a government collecting taxes, which amount to nothing more than a bribe to allow safe passage or else be harassed by sheriffs working for the president. Increasing the area. Investigating the area, we found that a local power broker named Sorrel Booker had declared that New Reno has fallen and he was the government in charge now. No, that's not a typo. That's actually how he spelled it. He and his government, his government, he and his gang set up in the old settlement and are passing themselves off as sheriffs and collecting taxes and other incomes from people moving through the area. Given efforts elsewhere, seems he was using the hysteria created by McLean to mislead citizens. However, it never occurred to him that New Reno hasn't fallen and that the government still very much exists. Given that the fact he spelled it as government, we don't think intelligence is a strong suit. Send the marshals, government, and government. The seat of power for President Booker was a dusty old saloon guarded by sheriffs, which amounted to nothing more than a thug in old highway patrol uniforms and badges made from sunset sarsaparilla deputy badges. The marshals arrived by nightfall, reminiscing of NCR Rangers in their dusters and armor. Their orders were clear: attempt to arrest if necessary, but handle any hostile action with a propositional response. A series of of actual sheriff deputies and law enforcement have been collected to assist the marshals in their endeavor, but were hanging back, awaiting for the signal. As the marshals made their way into the town, a few of Booker's sheriffs tried to stop them until they realized that what they were up against. Then the shooting started. For 2 hours, the marshals ducked in and out between the poorly equipped sheriffs as they tightened the noose on the town. The only reason that they didn't move faster, as the marshals had the possibility to identify their targets, as they were still people in the town. Soon after, there were breached into Booker's saloon. Just as he put a pistol to his head, one clean shot later, and Booker's pistol was on the floor, and the marshals were placing him under arrest. A fitting end. Veterans Bill faced minor battle in the Senate. The Veterans Bill has faced some slight opposition in the Senate from Senior Jessica Rhodes, who has addressed concerns over some of the funding required in the bill. I'm pretty freaking rich. Look at my money right now. Senator Rose addressed a crowd of reporters. No one in the state, myself included, is saying that we should not look after our veterans. That is not what I'm saying in the review of this bill. My concern is that my esteemed colleague, Speaker Graham, must have put the cart before the Brahmin. His proposals are generous, but it has the possibility to break the treasury. The nation is barely holding together as is, and as we expand more and more, we'll need the funds to kickstart reconstruction economy. Our soldiers deserve a nation that takes care of them, but they don't deserve a nation that will crumble under the weight of deficit and do everything they fought so hard for. With regret, I must look over this bill and adjust spending to ensure that we make the great efforts to look after our veterans, but at the same time do not lead to the deficit spending of the NCR or the pre-war government. Man, democracy is hard. Senate to reduce a revised veterans bill. In a move that has sparked a heated debate, Senator Rose introduces a revised Veterans Act, a bill she claims will provide necessary support for the veterans of the United States without bankrupting the nation. This fact is so much to protest. The original bill proposed expansive funding for veterans' healthcare, housing, job placement, and long-term psychological services. Critics, including Rhodes, claimed the price tag was simply too high. The revised bill scales to bring some of the more costly provisions will still maintain more core benefits. The largely changes include a tiered healthcare system, a work transition program, and a leaner house initiative. This isn't about sustainability, Rose argued. You cannot afford to go the way of the NCR, promising everything and delivering nothing. This bill ensures veterans are cared for without destroying the economic stability of the very nation they fought to defend. Senate is expected to debate the bill next week. But, well, let's see where it goes. Both bills passed Congress. It's a controversial move. Both the House of Representatives and the Senate have passed two competing Veterans Assistance Bill, sending them to the Commonwealth Assembly for final review. The Veterans Bill, spearheaded by Speaker Graham, proposed comprehensive and expensive benefits for veterans, including lifetime Medicare, permanent housing assistance, and robust psychological support services. Graham has championed the bill as a morale imperative, arguing that the United States owe its veterans nothing less than full support for their sacrifices in the wars against the NCR and the Legion. The Veterans Act, created by Senator Rhodes, will take a more fiscal approach, offering a sealed-back version of veterans' benefits, focusing on short-term assistance, jobs, training, and a tiered healthcare system. Rhodes and her supporters claim the bill prevents economic collapse while still ensuring veterans receiving the help they need. With both bills are now passed, the Commonwealth Assembly, the third house of the Enclave Congress, responsible for reviewing the reconciling conflict legislation, will decide which provisionals will ultimately become law. This is absurd, said retired Master Sergeant Anthony Erickson. He speaks to the deep divide in Congress regarding how to handle veterans affairs. The Commonwealth Assembly is expected to begin deliberations next week. And both veterans advocacy groups and fiscal watchdogs are watching closely. The final outcome could happen in the future of the Enclave Veterans Administration for decades to come. Well, I guess that's what the assembly's for. Farson Project. Traders and followers speak of a frenzy but curious subspecies of humans. At the very least, they keep to themselves and were willing to trade. Assembly review of both bills passed to the president. In an unexpected and controversial move, the Commonwealth Assembly has officially approved both the Veterans Assistance Bill and the Veterans Assistance Act separately, sending them both to the President granted for final consideration. Chief of the Assembly, Lion Carson, addressed reporters outside of the Assembly chamber. Speaking of their unusual measured tone, though some noticed a flicker of exasperation under expression. After thorough review, and the Assembly has determined that both bills, each has their own strengths and weaknesses, meet the necessary criteria for passage, Carson stated. Such, we are forwarding both pieces of legislation to the President, who will have the final say on which will be enacted into law. When asked by the Assembly did not consolidate the bill into a single proposal, Carson sighed before answering, because Congress couldn't agree, and frankly, neither could we. The decision made that President granted will now be forced to choose between Speaker Graham's expansive, full benefits veteran bill, the Senator Rhodes' more fiscal conservation approach. While the president has not commented, many expected him to sign, given the overwhelming bipartisanship support in Congress and the Assembly. Sources close to the president and its literally close proximity to the Western White House said the president was vocally not happy with the decision. To put it bluntly, said one senior officer who wished to remain anonymous, the Assembly just threw the president into the middle of a political minefield and handed him two sticks of dynamite. Oh, come on. Of course I have to do this. Granted sat in silence, seeing existential crisis glaring in the paperwork on his desk, as it was personally had betrayed him, after finding himself forced to make the final decision between the House Veterans Bill or Senate's Veteran Act. One expansive and expensive, in the other lean and coast-conscious. Okay, some of the sentence sometimes doesn't work well. Somehow both made it so the legislature and were sent into the Commonwealth Assembly, which is its infinite wisdom, decided to combine them into a one monstrosity and dump it on the president's desk. He sat there, arms crossed, jaw clenched, as if contemplating whether setting on fire would be a viable constitutional response. I gave him power, he muttered under his breath. I thought, hey, let's restore the legislative branch. That's how the U.S. government works, right? Let's have checks and balances. Let go the governor like a republic again. He let out a long, exhausted sigh. And this is what I get. You know, when we're not, it's just me in charge. Things were simple, granted to Boris T. Just like when I commanded Granite Company. I made a decision, people listen. Boom, done. But no, I have to go and restore Congress. And they just pull this stunt. Two competing bills. Now I'm the one who had to pick up the pieces. I should just kept running things myself. Boris looked at the president and shrugged. So which one are you going to sign? The House Veteran Bill or the Senate's Veterans Act? Gives you more recruit population, more construction speed and compliance, but minus 10. Minus consumer goods, more stability, same stability, more construction speed and compliance growth, more. Okay, I'm going to get minus 10% trade tariffs. More recruitable population. I'm going to do the Senate's Veteran Act. Diplomatic immunity. While at the point he used the title to have others show him respect and fear and hurl along prison, President Booker was a joke. All our several guards were reprimanded after Brooke complained about a lack of food and was tossed empty boxes of Blanco and Cram. The joke being just like this government, the food wasn't real. Grayson sat across from the slovenly individual, really wishing he wasn't, however, because President Brooker was been charged with succession, it made it a matter he was forced to handle. As Grayson read the charges, however, Brooker seemed to make it in a stride. You can't charge me. You said it yourself. I remember watching an old holotape about two cops going after a gun smuggler who was a foreign dignitary. Since he didn't kill me, I have diplomatic immunity, so you can just let me go, laughed Brooker. Grayson smiled. Hollywood isn't real life. I know that movie. Here's the thing that only matters if we recognize that country, which we don't. We still don't recognize you as a head of state, so your diplomatic reach has been revoked. Trial in 8 days. Farson Project. The Mole Miners and Farson. Mole Miner Society is simple. Communal and tribalistic. They are also openly hostile to anyone who is not them. Maybe it's the bond they share with the old Enclave that drove them to not attack the soldiers on sight. Maybe it's the fact 200 years of killing everyone and getting nothing in return taught them a lesson or two. Using local translators who somehow speak their language, the American envoy was able to at least get them to conduct trade their resources for food with us. Turns out a lot of them want more than just cave fungus. Interesting to note, the next day when our envoy team arrived, there was a massive pile of bodies outside their primary mine, and the mole miners were far more eager to conduct business with us. We're just going to pretend we don't know what that was about. We're not all that different. More resources, hell yeah. United we stand. For a mutant free land. Oh wait, sorry, force of habit. We're a purest free land. America was once described as a melting pot of cultures and people. Now the people we are a melting pot of people, cultures, and species, all living together unusually unharmony. President Brooker's sentence. President Brooker was literally dragged out of court by U.S. Marshals after found guilty of succession, treason, extortion, larceny, and being held in contempt of court. Reporters in the courtroom noted that Brooker's defense was that he was a citizen of the United States. He wasn't beholden to their laws. The judge dismissed this claim, with Attorney General Grayson mentioned that if Brooker wanted to continue these claims, he would have been tried over to military intelligence officials, of whom the Director of National Defense has been summoned by Representative Graham, again steaming from actions during the recent nuclear scare. After trial, Grayson spoke to reporters. Like anyone who thinks they can get away with extorting American citizens, the United States still exists, and the long-term Arm of America law will come after for you. United we stand. The great American melting plot. It's flawed, often chafes under its own weight. It has a history of problems, probably will for some time, but for the first time in Earth's history, 5 separate species are living under one nation, with equal protection and most of the time work together for a common goal. A human barters with a ghoul, while Slanter children play together with wasteland children in the streets. Mole miners pull out ore to supply a construction project manned by super mutants. At the helm of it all, the president sits before the Stars and Stripes, hoping to have direct the United States to live up to its old credo, having removed the genocidal old ways of the purists and look towards the 2300s with a new sense of purpose. All are created equal, or nah. This just reverts everything. All are created equal. Part of energy. Pre-war America sent energy from Hoover Dam to California, from the Tennessee Valley to Chicago. So can we? We have a situation developing Colorado. 2 outposts in the Colorado report contact with death claws. Normally this wasn't an issue. In fact, the Army had standard procedures for the fact that the troops hunker down and wait for air support. If heavy ordnance isn't at their disposal, however, 2 were wearing shrouds, which isn't unheard of, but they were traveling with a human. When said human approached, he said he was there to parley between the army and the pack of intelligent deathclaws down below. Yes, you heard that right. Intelligent deathclaws. Well, if that didn't work, it was way up the chain of command, all the way up to the office of the president. We have rumors of intelligent deathclaws out the Midwest, and there are scattered reports of our predecessors in the rig who once experimented with FEVs and deathclaws, but supposedly they were all wiped out. Right now, however, we have a pack of these things that are asking for safe passage and shelter within our border, claim they are outrun from extermination squads from Chicago. I'm sorry, what? They can talk? Of course they can. We've gotten more of the Deathclaw matriarchs in charge of her brood. If you've ever heard of a Deathclaw speak, let me tell you, it's weird. There was a mix of intelligent Deathclaw tribes that once roamed the Midwest and escapees from Chicago experiments. Ever since the escapees escaped Chicago and have been sending kill squads after them, and they've been running west. They are asking for the equivalent of asylum within our borders. No, Chicago don't dare attack us until they are ready. They are not asking for much, just safe for insecure areas where they can live out their lives in peace. They don't think that want to be near human settlements. Secluded areas away from humans and everything else where they can live quietly. They also agreed to even hunt their more feral cousins. Their intelligent and tribal pack hunting styles make them than a match for even the most victorious of savage deathclaws. We won't hide it. It's bizarre. We've been pretty open about allowing any evolved sentient species into our ranks, but intelligent deathclaws, that's one extreme even for us. However, they don't seem to have any ill intentions towards us and just want to be left alone in their own devices. Of course, how you can read the faces of deathclaw or tell the inflection of their voice is beyond us. Okay, we're monitoring them. Forever Soldier. Rastorm has rolled through the free side, setting everyone aside for fear of the radiation. Dorn himself worked calmly in setting up tables and chairs. Still didn't know that he was going to call the place maybe the oil rig. Nah, he could think of something better. Setting up the chairs, he heard the door of the place open. It was clearly marked not open, but word among the veteran community in the city was that Dorn was always open for veterans who need the place to rest, especially during a rad storm. Looking over, Dorn saw one armed man with a well-worn army coat walking and sitting at the bar, and it was a hint of recognition, setting a chair down. Dorn walked over and put up a shot glass. All I have is some local stuff sold cheap. Thanks, Drill Sergeant, said the man before drinking the shot. Drill Sergeant, huh? What rotation were you? Asked Dorn. January 78. I was one of the who got his leg stung by a blowfly. Private Ramino. I thought I recognized you. Seems you have lost an arm instead of the leg. Yeah, Centurion got a lucky hit on me. Doc's couldn't save it. So what now? Come to drown yourself in sorrow? Asked Dorn. Nah, the VA has a program where they sponsor soldiers who head east to help rebuild roads. I only need one arm to swing a hammer. My train leaves tomorrow. Was walking through and got into the rat storm and saw your sign. Dorn nodded before pulling out a card from under the table. Here, head to the old Mormon fort. I got a fright where they're an old follower. She worked with cybernetics and robotics. Tell her to charge me for a new arm. Now then, go east, young man. March of the Deathclaws. Seems our intelligent Deathclaw program just got a little bit worse. We thought it was only going to be a few dozen, maybe breaking into triple digits. Turns out it's exactly into triple digits that several broods of the things have been making their way into Colorado. We confronted the matriarch who first spoke to us, and it was basically a miscommunication, or she deliberately hid this from us. Apparently, this breaks out happened some time ago, back in the late 50s, and Chicago FEB intelligence officers have been intermingled with the Midwestern packs ever since. All in all, numbers are counting into the quad digits in terms of the things coming over. If we have known that we wouldn't have let the bastards in. Army units are assisting in trying to get them to secluded areas and elsewhere away from populated centers. True to the word, however, they are wiping out the savage and feral deathclaws that haunt those regions. We're monitoring them where their promontories are located, and we've warned them that any interaction with humans that aren't aware won't end well. They didn't seem to mind. It's nothing new to them. We've done more than they could have hoped, so they keep up their end of the bargain. Negotiating with Deathclaws was not nothing on my wasteland bingo. How many are wasteland with firing eyes? Department of Manufacturing. By creating the department devoted solely to the industrial growth, and we can revive the American economy. Oh, if I need to research that in order to get all this stuff up here. We got all this set up. Yeah, I basically give up on reading most of it because we're almost done with the game. Protests are up over the Deathclaws. Citizens across the wasteland have been taking the streets in protest following the shocking revelation that the government has been quietly sheltering and protecting broods of intelligent Deathclaws. Large demonstrations have broken out in major urban centers, with protesters carrying signs and chants of "No monsters among us" and "Protect Americans first" echo through the streets. In response, the president issued a brief statement acknowledging the program's existence, but emphasizing that every precaution that has been taken to protect civilians and that the creature posed no immediate threat to the population. Despite assurance, trust in the government tensions is wavering and tensions remain high as citizens demand to complete dismantling of the program. For now, the future of Deathclaw future remains uncertain as public pressure mounts in the officials scramble to address the backlash. Mole miners list. The mole miners since become a rather interesting addition to our nation. They're not the most welcoming types unless you want them to spend money. They are not the cordial types unless you want to spend money. They're not the most agreeable types unless you want to spend money. Seems their entire civilization is built around the old cutthroat mining industry that they're descending from all those years ago. Their leader, Boss Morgul, is ashamed, however, that we've been working at one point he was fine with extermination with any human he came across. He seems, however, that he changed his tune when he realized just what he was up against, and now playing along if it means to keep his people alive and keep his pocketbook lined. However, there was still the piles of bodies that we encountered the mole men, which means not every mole miner was so open about wanting to join the United States, and likely Boss Morgul read the room and jumped ship. However, right now it seems that they were eager to join and are fed up with the rigid hierarchy of the mole men, or asking to join the army like the Slanters did. A few officers oversaw a demonstration, and the moles were able to dig entrenchments faster than other engineers and machines. A few engineers crunched numbers, and the mole men could dig an entire World War I trench in half the time as regular humans. This, of course, would be a boon for us in the field of combat. Movement from the Deathclaw promontories. Several of our automated monitoring stations watch the intelligent Deathclaw broods, and their promontories have reported movement. We have to set them up to ensure that possessors of heavily armed citizens won't go in to get slaughtered, and the intelligent broods don't come out looking to prowl. Semblance for late night snacks. Several of the large promontories have been leaving signs and other things for us, and today a few representatives from the State Department went to ask what's going on. Seems like some of the younger Deathclaws and some of the more mature ones have been touched by our generosity. Touch as in they want to fight for us. Much like we are claiming our nation bit by bit, the Deathclaws wanted to take their homes in the Midwest and get back at Chicago for what they had done to them. A few military commanders caught wind of this and have to admit that having support units of Deathclaws that aren't savage and know who are the enemies and who isn't would be a net benefit on the battlefield. Deathclaws were once designated to living bioweapons for combat in close urban centers against China pre-war. The army is asking to run some tests to see if they can work and coordinate the ground forces. Name it Project Jackson. Use a fat man.
Everything's always tight around here in Enclave.
And when we use Batman, so we need to get their position now.
Who the hell is this? The president? Look.
We made it in. We made it in. Start pushing. Start pushing. Project Jackson, a success. Project Jack is nothing but a success. Sure, there were some talks about that the Deathclaws are trying to scope us out and find out tactics, but usually when it comes to feral Deathclaws, Havels were just airstrike them. So it's just a kind of a moot point. In close quarters combat, the Deathclaws were instrumental in assisting our units in clearing out simulated targets. Their thick armor hides, they flick rounds and lasers as they close in on the target after target. The army even got around to designating rudimentary armor for them, which has increased their effective tenfold. True success came after a live fire exercise against a shovel of raiders that have taken up residence in one of our mock settlements we have set up. Attempts to remove them peacefully resulted in them taking pot shots at us. Normally we hit the area with an airstrike, but instead used to test the new Deathclaw units. The arm packs broke into defenses at night under cover fire from army units in Rays Hill. The speed, agility, and lethality were second to none, as they were tore the raiders apart and left nothing standing. They even planted a U.S. flag in the village to signify the victory. We've put out a call to the promontories for additional volunteers for the new Deathclaw Auxiliary, and more than a few have eagerly enlisted. Well, too bad we only have limited numbers. Discovery of presidential proportions. Press granted. It's shocking news. Air Force One, we found it. In the ruins of Denver International Airport, scavengers teams report of a particular airliner with an absurd amount of automated defensive systems covering it. When our troops approach it, a few recognize the blue and white paint job, as well as the markings of the interior of the plane. It's worse for wear, but intact, and a few of our engineers on site believe that we can easily get the airliner flying again. This is, of course, if you want to. I shall soar on the wings of liberty, traveling sky high. Scavengers, reporters, soldiers, onlookers alike flock to the ruins of Denver International Airport today to see the historical monument when the president's own plane, Air Force One, take off on its maiden flight towards the United States Capitol for further future use by the president himself. The restoration undertaken has been tireless and heavily automated. With assistance from local scavengers, we're eager to reap the rewards of working on the president's aircraft. While the president himself isn't on the board of the airliner, it'll still designate Air Force One for his return trip to the West. The roar of the engines filled the still Colorado air as the pilot's message was broadcasted across the airport via loudspeaker. Air Force One, preparing the taxi. Alright, we took over the Splinter States, but we were going after the remnants of Canada. Canada is now the 51st state of the United States. Let's bring him in. Well, we really wrecking their asses right now. We keep getting encirclements like we keep having with the Legion. Funniest thing is that they're kind of stronger than the Legion of how long they're lasting, despite their territory size compared to mine. What's that on top? Oh wow, it's kind of like a board game on the map as you look around it. Well, we took down the southern area of Monioba.
This is Enclave main com. Why isn't your video feed working? This is Enclave main com. Enclave here. This is Enclave main com. This is Enclave main com. Enclave here. Enclave here. This is Enclave main com. Enclave here. Enclave here. Who the hell is this? The president? Who the hell is this? The president? Enclave here. Have a nice day. Enclave here. The fucking president's watching us like a hawk. Enclave here. This is Enclave main com. Now move it, soldier! This is Enclave main com. Shit, say that again. Yeah. I see. Man, the fucking president's watching us like a hawk. Enclave here. Why isn't your video feed working? Everything's always tighter out here at Enclave. Everything's always tighter out here at Enclave. Why isn't your video feed working? Why isn't your video feed working? This is Enclave main com. Enclave here. Enclave Maincom. This is Enclave Maincom. Everything's always tighter out here at Enclave. Ah, that's a no one. Have a nice day. Ah, that's a no one. The fucking president's watching us like a hawk. This is Enclave Maincom. Enclave here. This is Enclave Maincom.
I'll be damned.
Man, the fucking president's watching us like a hawk. This is Enclave Maincom.
Alright, lining up the knights. We need to do more than live off the scraps of the Great War. We can rebuild centers of high technology to train the next generations of scientists. So let's do so.
This is Enclave Maincom.
I see.
Man, the fucking president's watching us like a hawk.
Now move it, soldier!
We got implant technology, sweet. Oh, that doesn't look good. Alrighty, that combats with the factory output. Let's do cybernetic implants.
Everything's always tighter out here at Enclave. This is Enclave Maincom. Everything's always tighter out here at Enclave. Everything's always tighter out here at Enclave.
I see. I see.
Enclave here.
I see. Excellent!
Enclave here.
Now move it, soldier!
This is Enclave Maincom. The fucking president's watching us like a hawk. This is Enclave Maincom. Enclave here.
I see.
Yeah, you can say that again. Enclave here. Who the hell is this? The president? Who the hell is this? The president? Enclave here. This is Enclave Maincom. Man, the fucking president's watching us like a hawk. Everything's always tighter out here at Enclave. That's a no one. This is Enclave Maincom. Enclave here. The fucking president's watching us like a hawk. This is Enclave Maincom. Enclave here. Enclave here. This is Enclave Maincom. Enclave here.
I see. I see.
Every man, a car. In pre-America, every American dream of owning a car. Today, about in 200 in California do, and the rest of the nation is worse off. We can provide the American auto industry and promise some sort of people's car because life, as they say, is a highway, and I could drive it all night long. Buh, 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 and the Enclave will ride it all night long. Okay, as I said, and read the last part. We're getting neural interface. The open road. Although thousands of cars still in use some 200 years after the Great War, few if any have been built. That changes with the decision to build a factory outside Reno to build a childless highwaymen. The highwaymen rugged enough to drive off-road throughout the wastes. Powered by whatever fuel cells are lying around, represents America can do spirit. Economists estimate that within 20 years, one of every 40 Americans will own a car. EDE, play Johnny Cash. Starlight Express. Starlight Express. For the Great War, the Coast Starlight Railway connected the cities of the West Coast. It can do so again. Alright, recapitulate the Republic and
Who the
move
hell
to the
is
last
this?
remaining
The
rebellion of the
president?
United States.
You look. Who the hell is this? The president? You look. Ah, that's a no one. Enclave here. This is Enclave Maincom. This is Enclave Maincom.
Those paper shuffling jackasses. How the hell do they expect me to run this unit if they keep shortchanging me on supplies?
Everything's always tighter out here at Enclave.
Starlight Express. Bloomfield Space Center. Somehow, the pre-war space facility has survived time in nuclear war in southwest Arizona. It's not saying we should launch a rocket into the sky, but we're launching a rocket into the sky. But the rocket's red glare. With the liberation of Bloomfield Space Center, we could use one of the pre-war shuttles to send someone into the orbit and reactivate the Eagle Eye orbital platform. Some scientists question whether one off propaganda event is worth doing, but this could reactivate the spy satellites the Enclave placed over America before pre-war. Let's send the courier. What goes up? President granted several hours ago, our restaurant spaceship crashed into Pacific Ocean over the boneyard. Although he is fine, he said he didn't want to talk about what he found on the Eagle Eye, and all records seem to have wiped. The ship crashed in Northern California in short while ago, but the plus side, it did reactivate other spy satellites. What did he find up there? USSA Mission Control. With the recapturing of Houston, we recaptured the Johnson Space Center, restoring the linking it to our operations in Bloomfield will allow us to launch additional missions in the stars and soon beyond.
That's a no one. Why isn't your video feed working? Enclave here.
USA Mission Control. Houston, we have a problem. Houston itself, with the massive port city with vital of both economic expansion and production, held in the jewel of the USSA, its headquarters. Going in, we expect another derelict ruin, possibly over my raiders in mockery irony. Instead, the entire complex was in relative good condition. Its massive technology left over from before the war was still intact. This was still thanks from large part of the Houston governing body was descended from the USSA and kept the place in order at all times. With Bloomfield in Arizona and now here in Houston, we have not yet more opportunities to explore space around our planet and perhaps even beyond. We have liftoff. More impact in later updates.
Here. Everything's always tighter out here at Enclave. Enclave here. Enclave here. And the fucking president's watching us like a hawk. Enclave here. Enclave here. Enclave here.
The last argument of presidents. Although most nuclear missiles are used in the Great War, we've been getting more signals near Ashtoness that some suggest some of our pre-war weapons are still around.
Yeah, that's a good one. This is Enclave main comm.
Now move it, soldier!
And the fucking president's watching us like a hawk. Enclave here.
We finally win, and that's all the United States secured. A non-Mexican nation owned all pre-war United States of the United States of America. Wait, what? Alrighty. The sins of our fathers, strangling with the border between California and Mojave, are two prosperous trading towns, Ashton and Hopeville. These small towns have booming in the recent years thanks to civilization's recovery, and they're already on our list of liberating to simply logistics, nothing else. But recently we picked up some source signals from pre-war military bases in the region. Since the area was home to ICBM bases before the war, we should secure the towns and investigate. ICBM, you say? Well, we finished the game and decided to end it off here, and that was Old World Blues as the Enclave. Thank you for watching my video for today. I'll appreciate it. Please leave a like and subscribe. I'll appreciate it as well. And I hope you have the best rest of your day, afternoon, or nights. Goodbye, everyone.